Yes, people, welcome back to Chelsea Perspective. Welcome back to another match review on Chelsea Perspective. And in this case, it is Man City 2, Chelsea 0. You could say, again, some accept it's a better performance. It was a loss, but at least we saw a spirited performance, created a lot of chances, created more chances, better chances than Manchester City, but couldn't win. Yeah, but we will get into it in a bit. First of all, Blue Morning. Again, more importantly, blue morning, but good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you. Accept whatever suit the time zone where you're at. I'll get back to the panel in a bit, but before I check what we have in the chat already, I want to say good morning to my brother DJ. So, DJ, how are you doing, bro?
Yeah, good morning, Coachella. It's always a pleasure being on your show as always. Yeah, I'm good, bro. How are you?
I can't complain, man. I appreciate that. At least to me, yeah, we lost the game, but to me, Lewis
Yeah,
Hall, his performance made it look as if we won the game. Really, that's again
fantastic.
that's a big positive for me. I was screaming on top of my head. I was so happy. That alone shows we have something here. We're not actually lacking in that position. There's no
Yeah,
the size you could say size of game or the occasion that I don't see Lewis Hall performing. He's got the confidence, he's got the ability, he's got the intelligence, just only experience, which means just give him game time. It's as simple as that. Let's see what we have here already. Lam Lane, I know he told me yesterday he won't be available today, but that's fine. Blue Morning Kachila panel in chat, just saying hello in a drop in the like. Enjoy the stream and chat tomorrow. See you tomorrow, brother. I hope you're doing well. Again, please like and subscribe. As you're coming in, drop a like on the stream and subscribe if you haven't. It helps the channel reach a wider audience. DJ is already on the panel. Again, happy again. Hello, blue morning to everyone in the chat. Liam Lane, how are you? Liam Lane is not available, like I've explained. A big up and good morning to you too, Dan. I hope you're doing well. Yep, I know that's not a problem, brother. And yeah, I know you already know that. Let's see what we have here. Coach, again, that's again a day. That what a day for football. Another bad result, but Lewis Hall again, well, one of the best players on the pitch. Yep, that's no denying that. As we got Newcastle this weekend, so three loss on the bounce. I say I hope not. Again, I hope not. The manager can do things differently and earn a result. That's how I see it. Smash the like button, people. Again, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thank you so much for kindly saying that, Bobby. I appreciate all the support. Please, as you come in, if you haven't, drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. DJ, let me start with you again. If you're still there,
yeah, I'm still here, bro.
yeah, was that game, the cup game against Manchester
Mm,
City? Would you say
yeah,
it's a game you didn't expect us to win? If the answer is
yeah.
yes, what are your reasons?
No, listen, you know me, Coach. Despite our issues and problems at the moment, I'm always a positive Chelsea fan, and people can say you have to also be a realist, savvy DJ as well. So, I am a
Mm,
realist as well. I knew it was going to be a tough game to go yesterday, regardless of what team Manchester City put out, because we just know under this Pep team, we just know whatever play he puts out, they're just going to perform and they're going to do it. They're going to do the job on the day. And it's always a tough place to go. The Etihad. I think people have got to. The fans do make it. That do make it. People talk about the crowds and stuff like that, but they do make it tough for the opponents out there as well. And you can see everything that Man City were doing yesterday. The fans were just completely behind them. And when you've got that extra 12th man behind you, it just makes the players perform better. And we saw that yesterday. But what I will take out of this game is, from a Chelsea fan perspective point of view, I thought we played brilliant. I thought we actually played well. I thought we were very unlucky not to score. I mean, Lewis Hall for me was my highlight of the whole evening. I thought he was absolutely fantastic. What a talent! What a player! He was just unlucky not to score. He was, people were saying, one of our best players. I say he was our best player on the pitch until he was taken off. Even though his head dropped for them 2 goals, he had the experience around him to say, you know what, you'll score next time. And you could see afterwards how much it meant to the kid, because I don't know if you saw after the game, the cameras went straight to him and his head was still down in the dumps after those 2 misses. But I'm not holding nothing against him, and I really, really hope the Chelsea fans don't. And from what I've seen on Twitter this morning, yesterday,
He's not a person will, but go ahead.
no one has shown any kind of remorse towards him, and I hope it stays that way, because I thought he was the only shining light in that team yesterday. The team did play well, but we did create chances as well. But it was a better performance than it was against Arsenal. That's why I'm a little bit happy. And yes, we lost, 3 people. I know I've already seen Chelsea Dan's already put on their big up team. Has already said that it's 3 losses now. Yes, it's 3 losses, but we've got to move on from it, and hopefully we can try and get something out of the Newcastle match on Sunday or Saturday. Sorry, but it's going to be tough. But overall, I was happy yesterday with the performance. Just obviously, we obviously gutted to see that we lost again.
Yeah, for me, again, for reasons unknown, and some you could say, if I'm being factual, I don't want to come. If I say what I have in mind, it would seem like I don't like the manager or anything. But given the previous performances, I didn't expect us to win. But do I think we have a good enough team to come out with a win? I think we have. But probably given that, considering recent results, considering how the manager approaches things, that was you could say how I came to the conclusion that we're not coming out with a win there. But at least I saw something, a better performance than we saw against Arsenal. We had a better XG. We performed them against some departments of the game that showed we actually deserved more than we got out of the game. So you could say we were unlucky. But that's, by the way, we will look at the numbers soon because the number says we actually did well. It's set for specifically ball possession, which is something that doesn't happen in a billion years when you're playing against Pep Guardiola's team. I'm going to get Bobby started. Bobby, again, good morning to you. Your thought, again, was that a game you expected us to lose or win, whatever you expected to happen? Your thoughts, again, why did you think it was, again, whatever outcome you expected, why? Tell us why.
Hi, guys. DJ, my brother.
Big up, Bobby. I'm good, Bobby. How are you, bro?
Big up, guys. Coach and everybody in the chat.
Too,
look, it's a really busy one for me, so I'm kind of in and out. I just thought I'll jump in because of the topic. Look, I didn't expect us to win. We haven't been playing well. The whole team is disjointed. There are reasons for that, I know. I still think the jury's out for Potter. I'm not a Potter out person, but I'm still yet to see him tactically. The only reason I can give him a slight get out of jail card at the moment is because he's just got here. Clearly, the team he doesn't know. He hasn't really had time to know them. He hasn't had any time to train them. And, it's been a patchwork from day one for him. However, this is a long-term problem. It is a problem that is carried over right back to the Marina Granovskaya time, where the investments were the wrong investments in playing staff. We continued that into Thomas Tuchel doing stupid things like sending out Levi Colwill on loan, whereas we all damn well know that a left centre back is what we really need. That way, people like Cucurella can play their proper position and move into wing back. And now we have a solution, which is the young Lewis Hall, which I'll come to later, who will, as far as I'm concerned, from here on in, be rotating with Cucurella on the left back and any other position that he has shown us quite clearly that he's able to play. There is no strength in depth in the midfield. The entire midfield needs a complete overhaul. That is just the reality, a complete overhaul. Are the players that we have in midfield at the moment good enough? The simple answer to that is no. Apart from Mateo Kovacic and N'Golo Kante, the others are not good enough, really. Ruben, perhaps, if he's played there, perhaps he's certainly going to be a rotational player. But look, let's have it right. Look at Man City yesterday. Every single position, they had 2, sometimes 3 players. Calvin Phillips, after injury, came on and basically took over the midfield. Did we play well? In my opinion, nah, not good enough. Not good enough. We can't accept that sort of performance just because we were able to push the ball around a bit and create chances against Man City. Man City will always allow you to create chances with their 2-man defense, but they have so much more ball possession, so much more ability to create chances themselves that they can afford to do that, especially against a team like Chelsea that 9 times out of 10 will fluff their chances. Now, I don't blame Lewis Hall. I think he took his chances very well, and it was credit to their goalkeeper yet again. But I do blame a more experienced player like Pulisic with the chances he missed. But yet again, look at City. They have two, I think three excellent goalkeepers. You will never, ever hear a single person in media or a Man City fan complaining about, oh, we got too many good goalkeepers. So-and-so should go. He should go and join another team. Oh, he deserves to play. That mentality, that is losing mentality. Losing mentality. They advocate for keeping their players, and they quash any sort of media rumblings that will get these players to go. They were even quashing rumblings to get rid of somebody that they didn't really want, like Raheem Sterling. And it wasn't, and you didn't even hear it from them. It wasn't until they started getting in replacements, players like Haaland, and they realized that, hey, look, they don't really need this guy, that they were cool about it. Look, Chelsea, I think from the fan base to the team, to the management, need to really refresh their approach. One thing I'll say I'm happy about the Bowley group is that they have that winning mentality. They don't care how much you cost or how much they're going to have to pay you. If you're good enough, they will go for it. This is what top clubs do. Our fan base haven't got that into their head. You see a player sitting on the bench and the fan base are up in arms. Oh, why is Hakim Ziyech on the bench? Ziyech should go to Milan. This is nonsense. Nonsense. Look at Man City bench. Look at how they can bring players on, take players off, interchange. You will not see any difference between those on the pitch and those coming off the bench. They were leaps and bounds ahead of Chelsea. And for me, I think, you know what? This, fortunately, we've got a bit of a break because of the World Cup. This is a time for, I hope, Potter to work with the young players. Look at people like Cesare Casadi, definitely Lewis Hall. I've forgotten the other youngster that we've got in there.
Omar Hutchinson. Omar Hutchinson.
Omari
who didn't get on yesterday. Yeah, Murray, who didn't get on.
There's another one we imported, not Slonina.
Oh,
the other guy.
Yeah, I know you. He said that Casadi.
The Italian kid.
That's the one from Inter Milan. That's the one.
That's the one. But anyway, it's regardless. All these kids in there have a very, very good look at them and really train and work with them. Because as I told you last night, Coach, Chelsea, the blueprint of Chelsea has always been our youth and academy. Every successful stint Chelsea had, they took it out of their youth. You take it back to the days of Venables and Graham and this guy Greaves. They were all Chelsea products, and they went on to win something. And the ones before them, Blumstead, all those lot that won the league, Chelsea products. Then the generation after that won the FA Cup, the European Cup Winners' Cup, and so on, the Osgoods and so on, Chelsea products. We went into a bit of a doldrum because of financial problems, but the people that kept Chelsea afloat, who were they? Chelsea products, your likes of Wilkins, Swain, all that lot. Then we went into the financial problems. Who were the people that really got us out of that and got us to win the Champions League? Chelsea products. Yes, we had some experience around that. Yeah, you need that. But we have to stick to our traditions. Stop sending away our players. Stop it. Stop it.
So Bobby, in your world, do you think again, if you look back, given again, I know you've talked about where you think the issue stems from. The question I want to ask you: do you think there's anything Potter could have done differently for the outcome to be different?
Last night?
Yeah.
No, not with the players he has, no. And not with the time he has. I think Graham Potter is a typical English manager. They need time. They're not as expansive and as creative as these foreign managers. That's just the truth. I hold up my hands and say that. The people that ask for time at clubs are always our English managers. These foreigners don't come here. They don't give a damn about your time. They know what's at stake, and they know they have to perform on the spot. But that's okay. That's okay. If he needs time, I think he's got time. He's got a 5-year contract. And to be fair, I think it's only fair to give him time in view of the circumstances and the situation in which he's come in. You can't judge Potter until maybe this time next season, after he's had a pre-season and had the players. But the problem is that Chelsea cannot afford to drop out of the top 4. And he has to somehow, by some miracle, get us to keep pace and keep within that top floor. In a way, this World Cup is a blessing in disguise. It'll help us get some injuries back. It'll help him get to familiarize with the young players, which I think will be the key going forward. Look at Lewis Hall. Lewis Hall is as good as any left back we have.
Agreed.
Any.
Agreed.
And that
100%.
is including Mr.
Even
Chilwell.
better, if we're being honest.
Exactly. Even better. And that just tells me everything. Levi Colwill should be here. He would be playing now. Look at the need we have for a proper left centre back. All this talk of Gavidol and yada, 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 yada. This guy was in our clutches. What on earth is he doing in Brighton? It's ridiculous. Dejan Sterling at Blackpool. It's crazy. But I blame the old regime for that. That's really got little or next to nothing to do with the current regime. But going forward, we must not do this nonsense. We just have to start using our players. Omari Hutchinson, I haven't seen him play. I've heard, well, at senior level. I've seen him play in the development. We all know the hype, but the taste of the pudding's in the eating. Get him on the pitch. I don't care. Get him on the pitch against Newcastle. What's the problem? He can't be worse than what we've got already. So give him a shout. And if he's no good, take him and get someone off the bench. I'm beginning to see a out of form Mason Mount is better coming off the bench. He's certainly better than when he starts. So keep him on the bench for someone. Maybe for Hakim Ziyech, who I don't think played badly yesterday. I know he only created one chance, but I saw more endeavour in him than I've seen in ages. So, there's a lot to do for that team. And I think Newcastle's the last game before the World Cup.
World Cup. Yeah, it is.
I pray we survive it. I think we can survive it if we're very smart about the way we play. And, let's just wait and see. But then after that, this man has to work with the young players, because the key for Chelsea this season will be how many of these youngsters you can integrate into the first team. And I've got a firm eye on Kasadi. I've seen him. He's got the physicality.
Yeah.
I don't know about his pace, but he can shoot. I've watched him left foot, right foot. He is the business. And if you're good enough, you're old enough. It's got nothing to do with your age. You can be 16. If you're good, you can play.
All right. Again, thank you so much for that detailed contribution right there. I'm going to catch up with what we have in the chat. I'll come back with another question for you, DJ, again here.
Yeah.
A big up to you too, Charles Sedan. I hope you're well. And John Port Entertainment, the Pulisic, it's a big disgrace. Well, I'm not sure why you're saying that. Can you elaborate, really? I want to know why you're saying that. My word, again, was all the best players on the pitch. I'm not sure what you're saying again. But here's the thing, you need to elaborate. You can't just drop in that and expect us to decipher what you mean. Good morning, everyone. Jump Out Entertainment. Good morning to you. Big up Kachila, DJ Bobby. Again, I am patient about the process. We all are, really. I have to say, we all are patient about the process. But yeah, again, we have every right to, if we see anything the manager hasn't done right, we have every right to say it. To me, I think he did everything right yesterday, if you ask me, again, in terms of who started and who came off the bench. But I'd argue, again, give Omari Hutchinson the chance. Since the club stopped him from leaving for an international assignment for his country, why not give him a chance? Why does he have to sit on the bench throughout the duration of the game? It just doesn't make any sort of sense. Big up, Dan. Let's see. Big up, Dan, again. Blue morning to you too, Mikhail. Thank you so much for finding time to be part of the show this morning. Yesterday was a real joke. To me, it wasn't. We'll look at the numbers in a bit. a much, you could say, a much better performance. But you could say, to me, the most worrying negative thing on the day was just we weren't clinical in front of goal. We had a better SG overall than Manchester City. So, but we'll talk about it in a bit. Let's see what we have here. I cannot believe he didn't even give Hutchinson 10 minutes in the game. Then why stop him from representing his country? That's my argument too.
100%
Cucurella isn't showing the price. No, if you here's the thing, Deals. If you're gonna complain about Cucurella, it wasn't yesterday. He was one of the best players.
Boy, Cucurella was excellent. I thought he was excellent yesterday.
Yeah,
he was
stopped a lot
excellent,
of goals.
really. Even those games that people were pointing fingers at him, I can tell you again that he wasn't really the problem. The problem, like Bobby said, we had in previous games all stemmed from the midfield. But because people only see things on the surface level, the blame was always on the defenders, especially Cucurella. At least somebody has to be blamed. That's again, I get you. I get where you're coming from, but I don't think he did really. I think he did very, very well yesterday. Do you think something is happening behind the scenes because Aspie had to call some players back to come clap to the fans at the end? It may have been something that happened unintentionally. Nobody loses a game and you're happy.
Please, coach, it's unintentional. The players were down, probably a bit embarrassed, didn't know what to do. That's what the captain is there for, to guide them. So I wouldn't read too much into that.
I won't read too much into that, really. So again, I think, Bobby, I was saying the same thing before you came in, but good thing you came in to again reinforce that it's not something that happens intentionally. Again, this is 2 losses in a row. So you could say again, I don't know how else to say it. And the captain did his job, and the players were just down. They lost the game, and something like that. Again, let's see. Big up, Coach Saint Mason. God, they big up to you too. I hope you're doing well. Todd Bowley has to again back his man. Yeah, they probably expected things. The start start to life at Chelsea to be shaky. That's why they gave him a 5-year contract. I don't think they by any time Todd, if he comes in, he's going to start firing on all cylinders. But that doesn't mean that being patient with the process doesn't mean we see where he makes mistakes and not talk about it. No, it wouldn't make any sort of sense. Even he himself, I do believe if he's paying attention, he'd recognize the areas where he needs to make adjustment to do better. The team, again, depend me, that's pidgin English. The current owner is a waste of project. Owner no get sense. Again, coach, we no get sense. Equal. It's finished. Mumu, coach and owner. If not like that, you see, you have every right to. And I think the owners, they have a good plan. They have a plan in place. They believe will put the club in a better place to dominate. Given everything I've seen they're implementing, from again the plans to have satellite clubs, from again restructuring things, the structure of the club, bringing in new scouting, again geniuses, if you want to put it that way. They have a good plan, but again, sometimes mistakes do happen. I'm not sure this is a mistake yet. There's how many games into the season? I don't know the number, and I hate pulling numbers out of my wazoo. But my point is, again, there's still time. Like Bobby said, the jury is out for the manager, because you can say there's been some number of mistakes that we believe shouldn't have happened, but it's too early, really. I just hope the requirements we get is proper. I want to see smart money deals, not guns blazing deals. These are the owners, if that's what you want to see, these are the owners that you will most likely see that from. More importantly, they work with numbers. They've hired some people. But what I don't want to see after hiring those people is still them trying to, have real, influence on whatever happens in the transfer market in terms of saying we want these players, our numbers tell us we want this players. If you have a scouting department in place, a director of football in place, you shouldn't be getting involved in those decisions except sign the check when you're asked to. Newcastle going to be tough. I want to see the young boys, Omari Hutchinson. I doubt if the younger players, except for most likely, I think Lewis Hall starts that game. He's proven that the size of the occasion doesn't really matter. Again, the name of the club we're playing against doesn't really matter. The confidence he showed yesterday. I'm at the point of losing my voice of how I was screaming, how happy I was, and I said it. The outcome of the game doesn't really matter to me. Omari Hutchinson made it look like a win. What's his name? Lewis Hall made it look like a win to me, really. I'll get to you in a bit. Yes, preach, Bobby, says Mikhail. Preach it. Coach, didn't you see again that point blank goal that he missed? And it's more than one time I've seen the performance. Here's the thing. The first one was a deflection that made it an easy save for the keeper. I think he placed it. He was going to go to the other end of the goalpost, to the left-hand side of the goalpost, but the deflection redirected the ball towards the goalkeeper. I think that was what happened. It wasn't a miss, really. It was a good save from the goalkeeper. If we really want to talk about that, we're not, again, in a bad situation because we are in a rebuild, again, anyways. We're not draw or lose. Again, I understand the situation beyond, you could say the results. I understand that there are things that has happened in the past, especially we didn't start talking to players on time because our concern, as a few months ago, actually, was the survival of the club. Nobody talked about transfer. Some of us were coming out saying, oh, they already signed one player or the other, but we couldn't. We were allowed to talk to players, but we weren't allowed to get them to put pen to paper. And no player wants to talk and waste time because all the clubs are interested. So I think we will do better. But do I trust Graham Potter to do better? I trust him to do better, but I have to see him learning from what has happened in the previous games we've played. To me, it doesn't look like he's doing that at this point. He's set for the game against Man City. He made changes. You could say, benched some players that we expected to be benched. Again, the attack was a laughing show, coach. Again, those misses was very horrible. Not going to kill Lewis Hall, but he should have scored. If you're talking about he should have scored, consider how old he is, really, and how well he did. To me, he made it look like a win. I wouldn't even blame him one bit. Mendy gave me a heart attack every time he had the ball on his feet. Still, overall, he did well. Again, I hope he continues because we're going to need him. And like I've said, I've always said this before, he's equipped to do even better than Kepa Arrizabalaga in the sense that he's tall. And high claims are very important. And you can say he made a few good high claims yesterday, which stopped the ball. Man City crosses from reaching their intended personnel on the teammates on the pitch. I believe Lewis Hall should be tried in the right wing back. No, let him play where he's specialized at this age. I think we're being guilty of, again, playing players in a variety of positions because they are versatile. That can be detrimental to the development of players who are at the age of Lewis Hall. We need to play them to where they're specialized. Then as they're mature, then you can play them in multiple positions and only do that when, again, necessity calls for it. When you can say when it's necessitated, not unnecessarily, again, you can say dwarfing, subconscious, again, unknowingly, you can say dwarfing their development because they're capable of playing in multiple positions. It's not good for young players. If our, again, academy players are playing this well, why are we spending cash to get players, again, that the academy players will be better than? Sometimes I think it takes such situation as, the transfer ban and also Chilwell being out with a serious injury to find out what we have, really. You don't value what you have until, again, such situations, you get to see, wow, we have this. And the truth remains, the whole team cannot be completely the academy players. It has to be a mix of some talents and then some academy players. But the academy players, like Bobby have explained, they've always been the ones to save the situation for us. And you can say also they have that spirit. They are Chelsea through and through. They leave and break the badge. So when they're on the pitch, you see something different. Even when we were 2 goals down, he was still playing until he was taken off. Again, I'm sure taking him off was just a precautionary measure because now you can say we've seen that he's actually one of the best players we have. our coaching panel are all waiting at the bus stop. I will pick you up again after the Newcastle game.
Here we go.
I hope it doesn't happen, really. But the truth remains, Newcastle are even better drilled than Arsenal. Look what they're able to achieve with what they have. That's Eddie Howe is his name, right? He's done a good job, really. Koulibaly is to blame for the second goal. Yes, he's to blame, but overall, I think he had a good game. Probably ran too much and got tired because he should be jumping there, really. Again, don't mind the Mendy was good. Yes, he was good. Some good saves yesterday. It could have been worse for us. Brian needed to let his game up. He's too slow. Prince Boat, I'm not sure what game you watched. The guy is quick. He's good on the ball. I'm not sure. Again, he didn't get too many services, actually. He had to drop in to participate in the play. But that's, by the way, again, Omari could feature in the Man City game yesterday. Could have featured. Yeah, why? I don't know. DJ, I'm going to come back to you. Can you talk about, before we go into previewing the game proper, can you talk about Lewis Hall's performance yesterday? Again, to me, he shouldn't be part of the youth team again. He should just be part of the first team. Unfortunately, it's World Cup already. We're not going to see him again for a while after the Newcastle game. But go ahead.
Yeah, listen, we saw what this kid could do last season, and I don't understand why he wasn't promoted, in fact, to the first team. He was excellent last season. I think we saw in one of the games that he played in one of the cups again, he made that mistake and made up for that error, and he then set up a goal as well. So, I don't understand why he's not being picked or chosen, especially with our situation with injuries. We need to count every player that we've got, and I don't see why this kid shouldn't be given his opportunity. I thought, as I said yesterday, for me, he was the best player of ours on the pitch yesterday. I thought he played the game like he's been playing with the Chelsea team for years and years and years. That's the performance he gave yesterday, and I thought he was just very unlucky with his two opportunities that he missed. On another day, they go in. There's no doubts about that, And what I liked about the kid as well is you could sense how it got to him. The misses that he made, you could sense it was getting to him. And even it was nice to see that the players around him. I think Ziyech a few times, and I think they'll show pictures of Sterling and Aspie, kind of like what do you call it, him off and saying not to worry. Giving him that kind of reassurance that things like that will happen, but just be strong. You'll score next time. Giving him that kind of confidence, not to worry about the mistakes he made. And I think for me, if he plays against Newcastle or gets an opportunity to play against Newcastle on Saturday, I won't get annoyed by that. I think
he should start. He deserves to start, really.
Yeah, 100%. I think if I have to take one downer about all this, Kachilla, and what our coach did, which got me a bit down, was the fact that you call a young talented player like Omari Hutchinson from stopping him from going to the Jamaican national team, to be told, oh, you're going to be featuring in. We need you for the Manchester City game, and you're more likely going to be either starting or you're going to come off the bench. You're definitely going to get minutes, and the guy doesn't even come off the pitch. He doesn't even come off the bench. And even when then he still opted to bring on Sterling. He opted to bring on Mason Mount. He opted to bring on whoever. He obviously wanted to get back into the game. But I don't see why Omari Hutchinson couldn't be one of those kind of players that could have come off the bench and done something. And that was my only disappointment about Potter's management yesterday. He could have at least given this kid an opportunity yesterday to come off and show what he can do. But he did not. And that's my only bugbear I have with Potter for yesterday's match. But Lewis Hall, going back to Lewis Hall, I thought he was excellent. And as I said, unlucky with his chances. And what I like about it is he doesn't care. He gets the ball and he runs at you. And the guy he goes round players. And that's one of the things I liked about him yesterday. And if you saw his first opportunity, the way he stopped the ball, took it in and smacked it, obviously the goalkeeper saved. I have to say the goalkeeper was in great form for Manchester City yesterday. That's why I'm not knocking Lewis Hall for that, because their goalkeeper was good yesterday. We can't take that away from him. All right. But Lewis Hall generally for me, there's no ifs or buts about it. He should start. He should come into the game, at least be in the squad or involved for the Newcastle match on Sunday, 100%.
As much as I'll try the best I can not to go into that, I think he's a better player than Ben Chilwell, even when Ben Chilwell is at his best. The only thing Ben Chilwell has
cool.
over this guy is his experience. That's not saying Ben Chilwell is a bad player. Look at Lewis Hall at his age. Look at the ages of other players who were on the pitch. Again, you could say Man City had youngsters too. But this kid will control the ball, find spaces.
Yep.
He didn't opt for the safer option. He understood, intelligent enough. He understands football enough to know that the team will be better off with him progressing the ball and not try to pass it sideways because somebody was on him. But on 2-3 occasions, he took on the Man City players, made a run with the ball, and look at his intelligence. He dribbled the player, then drifted in front of the player, which made it difficult for the player to stop him. To stop him, you'd have to foul him from behind. That is something you don't see in every footballer. The intelligence to dribble, because he did 3 things there. He had to dribble the 2 guys that were coming at him. Now, he had to outpace them. That's the second thing. The third one, he had to drift to their face, to the face of the guy that was closest to him, making it difficult for the guy to stop him. And to stop him, he had to foul him. And even as the guy tried to foul him, he still was able to get away. And it didn't happen just one time. It happened like 3 times. That shows you how intelligent he is as a footballer. And he was able to pick up a delicious pass from deep there. Had it been Ben Chilwell, I've done watch along for like 10 times now, or a little less. I would be shouting, look up, look up. I didn't even, before I could say it, Lewis Hall saw it and picked out his man. He's that good. And like Jose talked about in the academy, he scored a few goals and had a good number of assists. He's that good. I think this kid should remain part of the team. And I'm still raving the same way I raved when I saw him play in a cup game against under Thomas Tuchel. And I actually made a video to him. So it's not like, again, it started yesterday. But yesterday showed how far he's matured actually under a year.
100%, Kujan. His passing range is excellent as well. The guy can find a pass as well. And the other thing, I think, from what I understand, the guy's also he can all. From what I understand, people say his natural position is he can play as a left back or left. But from what I understand, he can also play in midfield. I think his natural position in midfield. Oh,
you can see the way he played yesterday. He's naturally a midfielder. Yeah. And I think,
but he played wide on the wings.
Yeah, he's a perfect Graham Potter player. He's that player, definitely. Even though he's playing in the midfield area for the academy. If you put him in the left wing back position, he enjoys it. So I think he has a lot of chance now. I think he's part of the first team already, if you ask me. But go ahead with what you were saying.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I'm trying to say. People talk about having players that are versatile that can play in different positions. Well, here's one for you already coming out of our youth. You got one player there already, and for me, as I said, I thought, as I said, the guy can not obviously play in obviously, as I said, as a left back, as a wing back, also as a winger, but playing in the midfield is which his natural position is. But what I saw of Lewis Hall yesterday is you talked about improving your game. I mean, from what he was last year, people talk about his cup performance last season. I thought he was excellent last season. He even made up, as I said, he made up for that mistake he did and set up for a goal. But what I saw yesterday with his passing range yesterday was absolutely brilliant as well. And his dodging,
again, if I was the coach, I'll try him in the number 10 position, really. But again, go ahead, DJ.
Yeah, all he needs is to just, and that's it. This is why I'm not knocking him for it. All he needs to do is when he gets those chances again, 9 out of 10 times they're going to hit the back of the net, and once he gets a goal or two, I don't doubt for me he'll go on and can still score more goals.
Here's the thing. Anybody can talk about that first one. Here's the thing you want to calculate first. Believe me, I would say if it was Ben Chilwell, you see the cutback that he used to delete the Man City defender.
Yeah.
As much as I'm not saying, but this is not me saying Ben Chilwell is a bad player. He would have taken a one-time shot and end up hitting it against the player. But he had the intelligence, the patience, the calmness. That play overall, except that the ball didn't go into the net, was the play you see from a player who's in their early 30s. How he cut it back in and deleted the defender. The defender was just out of the picture completely, and then tried to finish with his right leg. And it was it wasn't a hand save, actually. It could have gone gone into the post between the legs of the goalkeeper. I was amazed at how cool and collected he was on the ball. Even some number 9s, the Mason Mount, Kai Havertz, as much as I don't hate them, it would have been one straight up hit against that Man City defender, honestly. But again, let me catch up on what we have in the chat because before it becomes too many. I will come back. We will start looking at the numbers. Sorry, DJ, did I call you off? I hope I didn't.
No, you didn't, bro. You didn't at all.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. Thank you very much again. Here again, Lewis Hall was good yesterday. He made me feel good. That's it. Again, even before the game ended, I didn't expect us to win. But I was saying no matter the outcome, really, to me, we won. And to me, he made it look like a win for us. Again, Broya, when he gets the ball, he doesn't know what to do. It depends where he got the ball from. And remember, he's young too. Bonnier, again, Bonnier, Nevada, thank you for joining the show. Again, people will have just 16 likes. Let's try to get it to 50 likes by the time we get to the 1 hour mark into the show. Again, why are our players so rubbish? Ray Allen, I'm not going to say that. Again, there are a couple of factors of which I don't know. Again, you have to take a look beyond the surface to see there's more. Again, you can say it's not down to the players alone, but I don't know. I wouldn't say they're all rubbish, really. Even Hakim Ziyech looked like, again, the best game I've seen him play for a while now, really. Mason Mount, again, if that's your argument, you have every right to say Mason Mount is average. I'm not going to get into the argument. We're here to review a match. Do you think we need a new coach? Okay.
Coach, that's definitely aimed at you, mate.
Oh my gosh! I did not
the
expect
Potter,
this
because you're the one on the Potter Express, bro.
And I'm waiting for Graham Potter's lawyer, leading lawyer. He's not here yet. Here's the thing. What I'm going to say, even I'm just going to say what Bobby said. The jury is out. Do I think he's been perfect? It's been a perfect start to life for him. No, at one point we had again 8 games unbeaten run, but I was looking beyond that unbeaten run then, and I even again that unbeaten run, I was looking beyond it, and I was saying, look, we were lucky against Aston Villa, we were lucky against Brentford, we were lucky. Even you could say we were lucky against to a certain measure against Wolves. And then when we played against Salzburg, again, we beat them away, right? Was it 2-1 or 2-0?
2-1. What you mean the last game?
Yeah.
The last game you're talking about, it was 2-1.
Yeah. So people were raving about, again, how Potter Ball has arrived and all that. And I was really concerned. And when we did the match review, the last question we asked a panelist was, should he try that in the Premier League? And every panelist said no. Even Graham Potter's lawyer, Roger, said no too. And let's look at that. The 11 that played against Salzburg. We had just 3 recognized defenders on the pitch. And why do you think Thiago Silva got an 8.1 rating? Why do you think Chalobah got a rating of 7.8? Why do you think Kukurea got a rating of 7.8? When your defenders again are one of the most you could say best players on the pitch, then there's a problem, which means they had to do a lot of defending. And in this case here, we had better balance than we had against Brighton, because against Brighton, Jorginho didn't start, so that made it even worse. And we won 2-1. But let's look at the numbers. Let's look at the important numbers here. They had an XG of 1.57. We had an XG of 1.49, which means they should have scored more goals. But people weren't paying attention to that. Those that don't understand football that much, all they were just repeating was that 8 games unbeaten run, 8 games unbeaten run. Look at it again, 16 total shots to our 15 total shots. Big chances, 2 apiece. So it could have ended 2-2 if you want to say that. Big chances missed. We missed 2, they missed 1. 115, ball position to me, it's nothing. Fouls committed 18, offsides 1, and all the numbers. So to me, my argument is it didn't look like Graham Potter paid attention to this numbers here, had they paid attention to these numbers and paid attention to how much work our defense did, he wouldn't have started nearly the same 11 against Brighton. Now, I'm not saying had Jorginho started against Brighton that we would have won that game, but had they started, at least we would have been able to control that game to a considerable measure. Maybe the damage wouldn't have been that bad, because if Jorginho is on the pitch, if you outplay us the first 15 minutes, he's inclined automatically to slow the game down whenever he gets the ball, and that could help in that situation. And then let's look at again the Brighton team. He went there you go. This game here. Let's look at it. He went for again the same approach again, playing again wingers in the wing back position. To me, that's not a problem. But at least if you're going to do that, you need to be able to control the game to a considerable measure so that the opposition don't come at you that much. And we played nearly the same 11, except again the absence of Jorginho, who again I don't remember who, but the whole players that played against Salzburg away, they did a lot of running, and most of them, even if you're gonna go with just 3 recognized defenders, you shouldn't have played nearly the same 11, or you should at least have Jorginho. As much as most people think he's the worst player, he's capable of recognizing these guys, they're coming at us too much. We need to slow things down a bit. So nearly the same 11 that did a lot of running. So to me, my only problem with Graham Potter right now is that it doesn't look like he's again paying attention to what's happening. He didn't pay attention to the Salzburg number. We won, and he probably thought, because there was some delicious interplays against Salzburg, but the numbers tells us it was a risky approach, and he deployed the same approach, nearly the same personnel against Brighton, which was risky. So it didn't look like he was paying attention, and even his statement shows that he thinks we were doing quite well. And you can argue we were lucky not to experience again the same shameful or again defeat that we experienced against Brighton, against even Aston Villa. So, but I'm not going to get too much into that. It's just going to draw me back. But that's not me saying he's not a good coach. I just want him to always look at the numbers to know, not just look at things out on the surface and say, yeah, we did well. DJ, I don't know if you want to come in there a bit.
No, I mean, everything you've just said, Kachila, is 100% on that. I think what we need to, I think what Potter does need to realise is, all we do is obviously as Chelsea fans, as we all are, we can only give our own comments, and we're not obviously managers or coaches. We can just say what we think and what we feel. And I still sometimes feel that the plays that he did play, I thought against Salzburg, I thought he put too much of he kind of put a full strength team out when we didn't really need to do that, because the game was more or less we more or less won the group anyway. Even if we had just got a 1-0 win, even if we end up drawing the game, we'd have still end up winning on top of the group anyway. But either way, he went with a strong team, and obviously we saw what happened with that situation. So yeah, I sometimes feel he needs to do that. And I always say is this, right? You want to rest these players and give them this respite time. And this is what, and I know Bobby was alluding to earlier on. There shouldn't be no such thing as rest, because if you're playing in form, then you play. And this is why I said the same thing about the situation with Zakaria. People will say Zakaria's performance yesterday, he was probably pants. People are going to turn around and say he wasn't that great. I didn't think he did anything bad yesterday. I didn't think he did any mistakes. I just thought that, you could tell.
Had he not been on the bench, they would just outrun our midfield 10 times the way they did yesterday.
Yeah, mate. And I think the thing of all is he should have started. And you know what I feel about that one? I said he should have started against Arsenal, because the confidence was already booming from the game against Salzburg. And what does he go and do? He drops him for that game and decides to go with a midfield of what he did, and we saw what happened in the Arsenal game.
And that brings up, just quickly, DJ, that brings up another thing that I think it does, that it's risky, that can divide the dressing room. It doesn't look like he rewards performance. Go ahead.
It's correct, Brian. It's to me, that is a lack of thinking. And knowing especially who you're facing, and how the Chelsea fans, and especially myself, I know a lot of the Chelsea fans, if the Chelsea fans are all like me out there, they know when it comes to matches against Arsenal, Tottenham, Leeds, Liverpool, Manchester United, Manchester City, wherever you want to name them teams, the crowd are going to be up for that game, especially when you're home at Stamford Bridge and you got Arsenal coming to town. The crowd are going to be on it from the start. Okay. And when he went in with that when he put that team out against Arsenal, I said to my dad, I was at the game, I said to my dad, I go, Dad, we're going to lose this game. You could just tell we're going to lose it in the midfield. You look at our midfield, you know, what he's got in that midfield, and it ends up going that same way. We lost. And, you know, and I even said to you that day, Nick Cucilla, you know, after the game, there was boos in the stadium. I don't know if Bobby was attending that game as well. I don't know. But there was some major boos coming out, and I could hear some of the fans that said in the background saying, Potter out, Potter out. That's going to start continuing to happen if he carries on making these decisions that he's doing. And look, as I said to you before, he can only get things right. You know, we saw what he did at Brighton. People can say Brighton, this is Brighton, that was Brighton, this is Chelsea, a completely bigger fish. I agree on that one. But he still needs to get his tactics right. And I think once all the players come back, he's allowed to get the players that he wants to bring in. I think we'll see then we can then start judging him. But still, in the meantime, the players that you've actually got, play them for God's sake on form. Don't just drop them after they've had a good game and drop them. That's why you're going to have this harmony in the dressing room of players wanting to leave or wanting to get out because of that situation. So he's only carrying a rod on his back. He's carrying a rod on his own back for doing something like that, especially when you've got, especially Chelsea. Let's be honest, it's Chelsea Football Club. You know how the players are. You know what's going to happen. You've seen it happen with the previous regime. They always back them. They always back the players over the manager. Yeah, this time around, I think you got an owner who's going to back the manager over the players, but the players will still make it tough for him. And he needs to start thinking to himself, you know, I need to get my head down and say to the players who's in charge here. Because if he doesn't do it, he ain't going to survive. He will not survive. You know.
Yeah, again, it's a risk. He will self-explode if he continues to see such decision as again, for instance, Broya participating in the press conference and didn't get to play a game that was a mere formality, a game that even if we lose 10 goals to nothing, it doesn't again change anything in terms of the table of our group in the Champions League. And Broya didn't start, and I just don't understand when playing. Some decisions you question. We play against Arsenal. You expect us to be able to press from the front. Otherwise, they'd be comfortable playing out from the back, and it happened that day. But that's why I'm going to try and catch up with what we have in the chat. I will come to Bobby if he needs to say anything about that particular. I need to highlight it. Do you think we need a new coach? If again, I want to get Bobby's thought on that. But let me catch up with what we have in the chat. Chelsea losing to Newcastle this weekend. That's for sure. Here's the thing. I'm not going to say for sure we're going to lose them. I'd like to look at numbers like insights and all that. Then you could say, no, I wouldn't say an educated guess, come to a sensible conclusion. But if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. Do I know we were going to lose against Man City? Yes. I knew we were going to lose. My prediction was actually we were going to lose 3-1. But in the end, again, the outcome didn't really matter. I saw a better performance. Had we taken our chances, you could say the outcome would have been different. But again, we have to be honest, Pep played it safe. Probably he trusted that if worse come to worse, he'll bring in the big guns and they will help him win the game. Even if they were 2 goals, 3 goals down. He trusted, again, those he had on the pitch and made quite a few changes, really. But that's, by the way, we're moving from that. I get your argument. We had a great team in the past going to Newcastle and struggled to get results there. Yeah, it's not a good hunting ground for us if we're being factual. You think this current team can get a result? Well, do I think we can get a result? Even against Man City, do I think the manager could have done things differently and we get a result out of the players? Yeah, I'd say yes. But for some reason, given what we've seen, we knew Man City, if they get their chance, they would take it. Because I knew before time, again, you can't say since Lampard, we've not been clinical in front of goal. So maybe that's partly the reason why I looked at it and said, go look at my predicted lineup. I said, no, we're going to lose this one, really. And again, so you consider those factors but we don't know. We'll see. Maybe Potter shows we see a whole, again, level of performance from the players. They all of a sudden will become a clinical in front of goal. But the actual fact is, we thought Arsenal played well, but the truth remains, Newcastle are actually better drilled in terms of dealing with teams who like to keep the ball. And now they like to keep the ball too, actually. They've joined the big boys but we'll see what happens. Again, I'm confused, really. There's no telling what Graham Potter would do. You can sit, do the mathematics, say, okay, you think this is going to happen. Based on what? There's no pattern to play with or to help you with the prediction. Maybe if the referee, again, VAR gives us 5 penalties, then maybe, then maybe we can beat Newcastle United. Good luck. Again, referees has never been on our side. Hall's, again, talk about Lewis Hall, man. Hall's instinct was to advance. Yep, no matter the situation. And believe me, Pep will be looking at him and be saying, wow. Because that's his type of player. A player who's able to progress the ball, no matter how many defenders or opposition players he had on him, he still progressed the ball, not afraid to operate in tight spaces. And those accurate passes infield shows maturity. That's what I'm saying. It looks like he's matured more than, again, the Lewis Hall we saw in the cup game under Thomas Tuchel. Wow. And he hasn't been part of the first team.
Yeah, shocking, isn't it?
Wow.
Shocking.
That's shocking, really, because he's again, you could say, yes, the only player that I've seen, again, they all have something to complement each other. Talk about Cucurella, I'll tell you how he's able to find passing lanes even when you think there isn't one. And how, again, he adds pace to his passes and always on again, 90% of the time on the carpet. Lewis Hall's ability to progress the ball, believe me, if Potter drops him in the next game against Newcastle, I'll be asking him what's going on. Even if Ben Chilwell is fit and he starts over Lewis Hall in that wing back position, then maybe I'll join the Potter out gang, maybe, really, because it wouldn't make any sort of sense. It didn't look like my honestly. He has my vote, unless of course he goes the way of some of our other products. This doesn't look like a product that will, again, a guy that you would look and not see him if you give him a chance. Go ahead, DJ. You were saying something.
No, I was just saying what you just said there. You know, I'm going to do what the Beautiful Game is doing at the moment. He's talking about the bus.
Join him.
The bus. Next, we're going to talk about the Potter Express Out Brigade. Yeah, that's what's going to start coming up soon as well. For Graham Potter. But look, I agree with everything you're saying, mate. And if Lewis Hall does not get into, and I can tell you something else as well. I know you want to go to Bobby. You can bet your bottom dollar bill that Pep Guardiola have been watching this kid yesterday, and he'll obviously want to see what's going on, because I understand, from what I understand, I think Bobby knows any more on this. He's going for 2 of our kids that are out of contract, Webster and Lusop Bell. They're out of contract, and I've heard that Manchester City are looking at both of them. So we want to make sure that this does not happen with Lewis Hall as well, because you better.
Oh yeah, we were okay. Here's the thing, Bobby. DJ, the watch along show was still going on, and I was yelling, Liam Lane, please help me. How long does he have? How many years does he have on his contract? Because I was fearing the same thing you're fearing right now. I was going, don't tell me this guy is nearing his end of this contract. And I got a response from Liam Lane saying, I think his contract is until 2025. So I went, oh yeah, thank you. But go ahead, DJ. Really?
No, that's. I'm muting now. Sorry, bro.
Yeah. Okay. Just one second here. Let me see what we have again. How the hell is Man City's second choice better than Mendy? I disagree with that. Mendy has had his issues, but I wouldn't jump to the conclusion that the Man City second keeper is better. No, some good saves from both goalkeepers yesterday, really. Again, Nevada, join me at the front of the bus. You're here to pick up passengers, I'm saying. Let's see what we have again. Hall is the best player in the whole Chelsea squad now. I wouldn't, again, Franco Bangwande, actually, I wouldn't argue otherwise. Believe me, I'd say yes to that. Because of what we saw yesterday. But again, he needs more time. He needs to be part of the first team, train with them and all that. More matured, again, and experienced than the aged players. Well, again, that's your argument, but I think he needs to be part of the first team. That's all I want to say. Coach, again, I am very passionate Chelsea fan. I understand that I want us to put up fight even if we lose. I have to see, when we lose with us getting back to, we'll look at the numbers in a bit. To me, it wasn't the worst of, again, the worst of all the performances we've seen of late, really. Have you noticed that Potter's team, again, has helped us with corners? We don't get us concede easily. Is that what you're trying to say? But again, I think we've been horrible at defending set piece on the ground, Potter, really. But we'll look at that in a bit. Good day, Coach Umar Usman Ishak. I think yesterday's game better than Arsenal's game, and we lost the game. But I'm happy to see again Lewis Hall playing for the side again of the batch. Yeah, it's just true. And God of Frogs, I cannot wait to see the same front line that Potter always sticks to. He's been sarcastic. Yeah. Let's see Potter out. Okay, good. If that's what you feel like saying, I agree. Again, Hall should be developed in this playing position, but we are currently having serious defensive issues. He's not, again, he wasn't a defender yesterday. He was just making up the numbers defensively. And even at that, he did well. Again, especially on the right side of the field, again, Hall can be the man to help us. Let him stick to where the side of the pitch that he specialized. We don't want to go into that process of, again, playing players in multiple positions and end up confusing them, especially young ones. I don't think he helps our players. The only guy I want out of the Chelsea 11 last game is Broya, RLC, and maybe Trev if we have someone else fit to play. You can't just throw out a player because they had one bad game or the other. I don't think that's okay, really. And unfortunately, I'm going to say hi to a few people here and skip to the. Let me see. I want to do this. So quite a lot of comments there, but just give me 1 second. And I want to say hi to Chris from Leicester Till I Die. Where did I see his comment? Chris, I hope you're doing well. Big up and thanks so much for finding the time to join the show. I hope you're doing well. Big up to you. Quite a lot of comments here to catch up with. I will skip quite a few of them because if I keep reading, that's probably the only thing we'll do. So, Bobby, here's a comment I want to bring you in to talk about. Is and again, for the person that asked the question, you're on luck because Potter's chief lawyer just joined the panel. But Bobby, what I want to ask, Chelsea, is it this one? Once again, this one here, Bobby. Do you think we need a new coach? We're just gonna answer that, no matter how you see it. I want to get your thoughts on this question.
I know you sidestep me from certain things, Coach, because you know how I'm going to come at it. But I'm not going to let you do that. All this talk of nonsense, before I answer your question, of nonsense. Oh, Broja shouldn't play the next game. Why? Because he made a few mistakes in this game. Why? Because he hasn't had game practice. He's the very person that should be playing against Newcastle ahead of Aubameyang. And, I'm not worried about any players that Man City are looking at. It's funny how we are accepting of players to go to Man City and come off the bench. Chelsea fans drove away Nathan Ake because he was coming off the bench for us. And what's he doing at Man City? Coming off the bench. And what would any of these youth players do at Man City? Sit on the bench. Look, we shouldn't be worried about things like that. What we should be worried about is making sure we get our youth players playing. We should be kicking a stink to get Levi Colwill back to Chelsea. I never supported that move. There is no reason for him to be at Brighton. He belongs here. He belongs in the first team squad. I'm not listening to any of this. We as a fan base should be kicking off about this. Bring our youngsters into the squad. This is where they belong, and they're the people that will save us. And in response to your question, do we need a new manager? Is it what you're asking? Do we need a new manager? Well, what's that question?
Yeah, that's the question, yeah. Do you think Chelsea need a new manager? And you understand what that translates to? Do you think Potter is the man for the job?
I've said earlier, and I will generalize. As an Englishman, I will generalize. English coaches lack creativity and imagination. They're very robotic. That's why they
and Bobby, just quickly, you're French, right?
I'm not, well, maybe in another life,
No, I know why I'm asking that question. You're English. Yeah, that's indirect way of asking again, coming from an Englishman too. But go ahead, Bobby. Did we lose him? Yep, it looks like he's having a connection issue. I may have to again. Maybe we'll have to go ahead with Porter's again, a lawyer in chief. He's in the house.
He's in the house, a lawyer.
Yeah, it looks like Bobby's having a connection issue.
Roger,
it looks like
big
we
up.
lost him. Yeah. So, Roger, your case. You heard this again. This accuser here, if you want to call him that, asking, "Do we need another coach?" Your honest opinion, really. And if you can, not use big
Can you
words.
hear me?
Okay, yeah, you're back again. Go ahead, Bobby, with what you were saying.
Yeah, I got cut off. I don't know why.
Yeah, so I was asking you.
English
It was a connection
coaches,
issue. I asked if you were, and you were French, and I intentionally asked that. What I'm saying is coming from an Englishman. But go ahead.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I say it as it is. We're robotic. Look at our national coaches. I have not yet seen an English coach, apart from maybe Glenn Hoddle, that is innovative, that comes up with something that nobody else has done and enforces it into a winning formula. I haven't seen it yet. That's just the way it is. The Germans do it. The Spaniards do it. All these the Dutch do it, but we're always imitating. That's why our coaches in the Premier League come and start begging and squealing and asking for time. And indeed, they need time, because when they have time, they eventually get what they want. Okay, I can live with that. But let's not try and pretend that Graham Potter is some genius. He was with a mid-table team-ish that played once a week, and he had enough time to train them and get them into a machine that could play very well after studying the big boys. Okay, that's fine. That's a good formula. Should we change him? The direct answer is no. That's what we've got. I think he needs time, but the jury's still out. I want to know if, as you've said in many a situation like with the Champions League selection, if he's going to learn. That's what I think is really important. Will he learn? Will he learn that what you do in the Champions League does not translate to the Premier League? Will he learn how to play his team twice a week and have them have tactics? Will he learn how to dig into the depth of the squad? And as Man City yesterday did, play one team, get players in, and you can't see the difference. Personally, I believe he will. I believe he will. And the reason I believe he will is that as a robotic manager, he'll be able to pick up these things. But will he ever do anything innovative like Klopp has done, like Guardiola has done, and Tuchel to a certain extent did?
Yeah, I was going to ask if you don't mind adding Tuchel to that list. Go ahead.
Yeah, Tuchel was innovative in some ways. The way he came and, I'll develop a team that nobody wants to play against. Up until the time he lost Rudiger, I think he had that team. So will Potter do that? I would love to think he will. I would love to think he will break the mold. I would love to think he'll be the first English manager to win the Premier League. That's what we're all looking for. That's what we're all hoping for. Is he capable of it? The jury's still out. That's all. If my heart wants him to do it, but my head still is waiting for judgment.
Bobby, please don't kill me.
It's so true. He's spot on, though, coach.
Here's the thing.
As always,
so
he's spot on.
Confused. I don't know if I can say Bobby Potter out or Potter in.
He's so true.
But that's Bobby's.
Love Bobby's comments. He's passionate, man. Passion.
I know you can't take that away from him, but I understand where he's coming from, really, and never biased in terms of voicing his opinion. And I know he understood. I intentionally asked him, "And you are French?"
No,
I know he wasn't French.
I love my club.
I know. Oh no, Bobby. Do you think I'm questioning that? No, I'm not, and I will not, because I don't want to get into that fight with you. Before I go to the lawyer in chief, there. This comment down the screen says Todd Boehly was using his phone. Why is that important to you? Do you think he's texting the next manager or what our players were signing. I don't know why that is important, why you feel we should know about it. You're the one that talked about it. You let us know why I think that is. Roger, coming to you. Yeah. I don't know if I should say without being biased. Do you think we need another manager, really? You know what that question translates to? If you want to, again, on your own, elaborate on it. To me, it sounds like, do you think Potter is the right man for the job? That's the question. Here's the question again here. But again, that's a question has distracted us a bit. But I really want us to deal with it. Then we'll go into looking at the numbers for the performances, and after catching up with the chat. And I'm going to be skipping quite a few comments, a lot of them, because I'm way far too behind. But this here, like I said, translate to: do you think Potter is the right man for the job?
Hey, good afternoon and good morning, gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
Big up to you, Roger.
Big up to you, Roger.
Sorry, I was late. It was on a conference call with my legal counsel. So, but I pretty much comprehensively agree with what Bobby and DJ have said throughout today's show. There are exceptions. The Glenn Hoddle being one, and also Brian Clough, even though he wasn't given that opportunity because he wasn't a FA yes man. There's always exceptions.
I forgot Brian Clough.
Brian
Absolutely.
Clough, yeah, of 100%. Course. Yeah,
although it was very physical stuff, but it was his stuff, and nobody else played like him.
But you can also say, look at the Italians for 20, 30 years. They're famous for what ethos? Don't concede. Boring. Don't concede. But look at what the English have done. Don't forget, it was for the most part of world football, it was always a 3-4-3, and the English introduced in 1966 a 4-4-2 to combat that with two up front. You can't say we're not
Alf Ramsey. Yeah,
exactly. You can't say we're not innovative.
That's true.
It's cyclical. Football is cyclical in so many regards. Look,
Roger, I say out of frustration.
No, I hear your frustration, and sir, you are on my legal counsel.
And your name is Roger.
Yeah. No. Everything that you said is highly valid. It's like until I saw a documentary and some interviews, it's like, what is it called? St. George's Park is built. Guess who came to look at it? Who sent their FAs over? The Germans and the Italians.
The Germans, yeah.
See what we're doing? Because guess what? For 30, 40 years, we didn't have a national scheme like the Italians and the Spanish and the Germans have had. It's cyclical, gentlemen. It's cyclical. So, but you're right, though. And you can't discount, I can't even believe I'm going to swear. So Alex Ferguson, he's British. He's not English, but it's the same essence, do you understand? From the same country, per se. Or subset United Kingdom. But when we go to war as a country and entity, so far until they get independence, he's British also. Do you understand? So, but anyway, getting back to the question at hand.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, no, of course not, because it's way too early. The jury is out. It's not even out for.
You even find it difficult to say that the jury is out.
Yeah, it's so premature. You need at least a year, maybe 2 years. We don't know what he's. Listen.
What? How long?
Yeah, 1 to 2 years. In a perfect
Go ahead.
Listen, you had Pep that took over a previous champion. By the way, you kept on saying like, oh, don't forget Tuchel took over mid-season. Yes, but he didn't have this concentrated schedule that we have because of the World Cup. We've gone through 4 months or 3 months of Champions League, and compressed it into 6 weeks. So you can't really. This is a different. He hasn't had time like the previous managers has had on the training ground, and I've heard that in other shows talking about it on TV. So that he is slightly handicapped compared to his predecessors. But I don't. Do I think he's made mistakes? Of course I do. That would be so naive of me to say otherwise. Do I think he's done some good things? Of course he has. He has, but he was hired not on his record. He's hired on his potential. It's simple as that. Just like a player.
I think that's what we all have to pay attention to.
Yes, it's very important.
He's hired not because of his record. He was hired because, again, of his, again, potential as a coach, which means we have to accept it's a learning process for him. To me, that's dangerous, really. But go ahead.
But you know what? You have to start somewhere. Pep started somewhere. Sir Alf Ramsey started somewhere. You can say this about everyone. Look, Sir Alex Ferguson. Sir Alex Ferguson would not be successful in today's environment. He went, 6 years without winning the Premier League / First Division, whatever it was called then. Do you understand? It took him 4 years, I think, to get to a final. He wouldn't last in today. I think he's admitted it in interviews. So, look, are we going to give him 6 years? No, of course not, because the game has changed. But I'm just trying to but that's only in the last 20 plus years. So we want instant gratification in today's society, because we live in a world that it's 24-hour real-time news. You go back in the 60s and 70s when you had the Vietnam War, it took days for the newsreels to arrive. Now you have uplink satellites. It's real time. We are spoiled. You have to give these individuals a chance.
So, Roger, just to bring you up to par, now, again, we'll get into that argument again, maybe another show where we'll answer the question, how long does he really need? Now, and we don't know the agreement. Probably he was interviewed. It's a job. He was interviewed, so we don't know whether he promised, again, he's going to be able to at least get us into top 4. At least again, but that's, by the way, we'll talk about that in a bit. I want to ask you this question. Before the game, did you see the possibility of Chelsea winning the game at all? If it is yes, if it is no, tell us why.
I thought, because of, actually, they exceeded my expectations collectively.
Mm-hmm.
And yet again, they met my expectations collectively with the lack of being clinical. As I said just before the pre-game show, I thought at best we could get to penalties and possibly win that way. But did we play well? This was as much as the Arsenal game was a huge step backwards, this was conversely a huge step forward in as regards the end product. We're playing against a very good team. By the way, Brighton beat Arsenal, so away in Arsenal. So, I thought we played well. The result didn't really bother me. It was how we played. Just as the same could be said for the Arsenal game. The result didn't bother me, even though it did. It's the way we lost. Now, you can equally say that how we lost was very enlightening. I was very happy with how we played. Very happy. Did we make mistakes? So listen, as much as you can say you can't blame someone you can't base a career on one bad game, you can also say the same for just a one good game. But do I see this as an exception as to the rule? No, I think you can tell he has quality. He didn't do this against, and I keep on mentioning this, sorry for any Yeovil Town fans out there, but this wasn't Scunthorpe or Yeovil Town. This was against a solid team that, as we've discussed before, every single one of their team could probably get into the bottom 15 in the Premier League. So we played against, he excelled against a very solid opposition. So you have to give Hall credit. Conversely speaking, I was so disappointed with Koulibaly, who I really like. As a goalkeeper, that is unacceptable not to jump. Unacceptable. I would have been in his ear chewing his you-know-what off. That is right. Listen, you've got my left side. I'm responsible. That's why you have a wall. That's boy. I would have. Yeah, I would have let him know exactly. Yeah, and to a certain extent to the second. I also want to say, I want to quickly just give me about 30 seconds for this, coach. Pulisic, I defend him. Do I not? Am I not? Shall we say? Sympathetic to his cause? Am I not objective with him? But every time I say he should start, he's bullied off the ball. It was his free kick that led to the goal, the second goal. Why? Because he was bullied off the ball, and he pulled back the guy instead of going to the ball and picking it up. The dark arts of the game. What did he do? He raised his hands and watched in the replay, especially the camera angle behind the goal. He strolls back. He doesn't even attempt to sprint back to help. This is unacceptable. This is what I've noticed about him. time and time again. You know, you have to give credit where credit is due, and you have to, apportion blame when it's credited. And I'm sorry, he is dispossessed constantly. Yeah, and a couple of his misses. Well, listen, you're inside the penalty spot. You're like your 8-9 yard line, and you miss so badly. And at first you think, oh, the great save. He was actually missing the target. It was deflected onto the goalkeeper. Shocking. He's not stretching for it. It's a fluff completely. And he's done
Totally
this.
agree.
Yeah,
Totally agree.
I like Pulisic. Don't get me wrong. I like him a lot.
No, I got you wrong.
But he has not, and he probably needs more game time. I get that. I respect that. But I'm sorry, he's bullied off the ball each and every time. This league is too strong. It's too physical for him. He needs to get upper body strength. It's as simple as that. He needs to work on it. And the other thing is,
one of the lawyers on your team, Tobago, he's in the chat saying, "Yeah, thank you, Roger." But just go ahead.
No. But so Coach Chris, it's like you're only defending him based on his nationality. If he was Portuguese, if he was Argentinian, you wouldn't be defending him as such. You have to apportion blame when it's warranted, and you can't defend the indefensible. And he's not passing the eye test each and every week. Do I like him? Yes, I do. Do I think he has serious potential? Yes, I do. But his application needs to improve.
Right.
I thought Mendy was good, but he also had some shots.
Yeah, we will get to the numbers of each player.
Sure.
But let me ask you this question. I haven't asked the panel this question. Just answer that one. I'll try to get whatever I have in the chat again. But I'll scroll to the very bottom before we start looking at the numbers, so that again we're not going back and forth with the topics, so we don't get somebody to fall asleep. Quickly, Lewis Hall. Did you see enough that you think he should instantly become part of the first team? No longer, again, if the academy team needs him, if we're not playing, then he can go represent them. What do you think?
150,000,000%.
Okay, Roger, what do you? Yeah, okay, go ahead, Bobby. Go ahead, Bobby, if you want to go talk about it before Roger goes in.
You're so on the fence, Bobby.
But go ahead, Roger. What do you think, really?
Lewis Hall has passed the test. He is a first-team squad player, and if you're not careful, he will be a first-team starter before the end of this season. He is that good. 150,000,000%.
Wow.
Lewis Hall, 18 years old. Welcome to Chelsea first team.
Says it is, and I agree. And can I just say one more thing as well before you go on? I respect everyone's comments and opinions, but this thing of brochure, not player, please, just don't get off this kid's back.
Exactly. DJ, sorry that I even highlighted it and left it there for a while.
It's not right.
I know you agree.
Thank you.
I know you agree, Bob. Here's the thing, DJ.
Yeah,
everybody. We're all entitled to our opinions, and sorry I left it that long. I was just gonna say again, if that's how he sees it, that's him. Bro, I wouldn't even see this. That's one thing. Yeah. So just don't worry about it too much. Again, everybody is again. If he thinks he's not a player, like I say to everybody who participate in the chat here, don't just say something. Elaborate, and we will talk about it. Yeah, exactly. So that's by the way, really. But yeah, Roger, your thoughts on again? I was just leaving it because I didn't want to read this immediately. But Roger, your thoughts on again? Let me say your thoughts on and what I asked about Lewis Hall.
I think Lewis Hall had a stinker of a game. No, of course not. He stood out. He was sorry for the heart attack, Bobby. I thought he was exceptional. He was a shining light in a otherwise very dark week. But as I said, you can't also, you know what this reminds me of? Billy Gilmore. Okay, sorry to use those two words. I still can't get over that. But also Zakaria. After Zakaria played for us, we're thinking he definitely has to start next game. Did he? No. So don't put the second mortgage on this bet that he is starting or even being a part of the next game. Do you understand? Based on what we've seen, I'm just going by modus operandi here. As simple as that. His MO, Who knows with Potter? Do I think he deserves to be in the first team? Yes, based on this one game. And I've seen him before, and it's right. His how shall I put this? His natural position, for want of a better term, is in midfield. So he's quite versatile. He's technical. I like his first touch. Oh, just to quickly say something, Sterling was 0 out of 1. So that makes 11 out of 50.
Again, yes, so you've added that to your spreadsheet, right?
Yeah, I have. So that makes 11 out of 50. That's 22% success rate in dribbling. Shocking.
Yeah, we will talk about him in a bit. Again, the Bluetooth game says, Coach, do we have a date in the diary in January for your stream on available managers? Nope, I hate to disappoint you, but not yet. Yeah, I get where you're coming from, but I'm not going to do that now.
I see Williams.
You love the beautiful games comments, seriously.
Yeah. I see Hazard in Hall again. The calmness, the dribbling, the way he gets away from players when he is isolated. Again, Guy will become a very big player. His confidence, again, his intelligence as a player, so many stuff. But I wouldn't compare him to Hazard.
His composure.
I think Hall is so much better than Gilmore. I see Hall on the trajectory of Reece James. You know,
even you can say they're all different players, really. I think it's something I've seen in Hall that I haven't seen in Reece James. But we'll talk about that another day, really. We need to beat Newcastle. No excuses. Yeah. Again, it's easier said than done. Like I said, the much well-drilled
I
team.
meant, you know, the way he's going to establish himself.
Okay. In terms of the trajectory of his growth and everything. Yeah, I couldn't agree more, really. You love Bruce so much, but he is not a Chelsea caliber player. If that's how you see it, good. You go ahead with that thought. Pep was just being patronizing. God, I miss Tuchel. You could say that. Some people are saying that. But if that's the case, then should I say he's really corny? Really, if that was what he's doing. But I get your point. If we are going to go through growth pain, 3-4 years of building something, I'd much rather it be with a high-profile manager that attracts big name players. I'd rather Jose or Flick. Those managers don't have the time. If we're being honest, Potter is the only manager you'd say, again, because I don't think the plan is to sign too many players to accommodate at least 50% of young players and 50%, maybe not up to 50% of purchases, actually. If you're paying attention to what has been going on at the club. The truth remains, Potter is the only level of manager that will accept the job that say it's a project. We have to, again, and say, can you help us achieve this and achieve that? Managers like Hansi Flick, Jose Mourinho, the result has to start happening immediately. The most patient Mourinho can be patient for will be a year. I don't think he's into projects and all that. I don't know how else to explain it to make sense, but I think Potter, in terms of what the owners are planning, given his level, I think he's best suited for it. But yeah, that doesn't mean we'd see things where he's doing wrong and not talk about it. I have to be honest. Tuchel beat Pep thrice last season. That's just the truth. But did he do it again? No, not last season. Last 2 seasons. Last season we lost twice to them. Yeah, they did a double against us last season. I'm surprisingly less pessimistic after the loss, to be honest. To me, like I said, it was a loss that Lewis Hall, to me, more importantly, made it look like a win. I have to say that. And Limitless, nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. Thanks for finding time to join the show. Yeah, I have to be honest. And I'm going to scroll to the very bottom. Sorry, I will miss quite a lot of comments, but I just have to do that. There's too many to try to catch up with. Says, are you happy with Potter? Yeah, I know you were going to throw, Chris. I know you're just not just going to come here and say one thing and leave. Let those in the chat answer that question. Once again, what I know is that he needs time. Do I think I can be that patient with him? I can't say yet. I don't know, really. I have to be honest. Wilfred Zaha can help us. We need to approach Palace with an offer. Has he signed a new contract? Why should we try to pay when there's a chance we get him on the free, really. He keeps making mistakes every game, if that's how you see it. What about Casadei? Yeah, the club, you could say, I don't know if I should use the word raving. They're happy with what they've seen so far. And I think he'd soon get a chance in the first team. Okay, quite a lot. Supreme Court's Chivon Casadei should also be, yeah, I think he'll get a chance soon. Hall's performance was great, but overhyped a bit in your opinion. Okay, good. He held of the second half, and again squandered clear chances. How old is he again? You let me know how old he is, and tell me whether you've seen a player at this age again. You can say producer perfect or flawless performance in the game. Whatever you saw comes with that age. To me, it was an excellent performance from him. Your ticket is currently being processed, so you're picking passengers up, and I'm happy to see that. Quickly, Coach, I really love your show, and I may have to give up my job as I am making so much money in ticket sales in terms of those that are bought out that he's picking up here. Yeah, I understand. Keep picking them up, please. I need to recognize them to give them titles, adequate titles, if you prefer. I wonder if there's an element that GP is trying too hard to please by showing that he's a good manager, tactician, because again his tactics, you can say personnel, and his system since he's got here has been weird and wild. I would say weird in the sense that he's unpredictable. Like Roger would say, he's predictably unpredictable. To me, unpredictability is good for a manager, but there are other things that I've seen that concerns me the most. His unpredictability, to me, I like it actually, but it will make it even difficult as a content creator to predict what he's going to do. And unfortunately, that's the case. Do you see us in the Champions League? I'll highlight this after the review. We'll look at it again because I'm trying to. Nice to see Steve Chelsea. Thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. And unfortunately, I am really going to scroll to the very bottom. Sorry, guys, there's too many to read. And if I keep doing just that, would end up just reading the chat. And that's it. Again, hello, everyone. Blessing, Coach, and partner blessing to you too. Nice to see you, brother. I hope you are much better today. Wally Waldo, I see you. And Yarami, again, CDK, I see you. I see all of you. King A, I see you all. Again, thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. And Tobago, nice to see you too. Again, all of you, and the Queen of the House, thank you. Nice to see you all. Can we encourage? Yeah, you should encourage. If you want to do that, please help with a therapy session or two. That will help a lot of people. Again, weather it. And I saw somebody, I think it's the doctor, that said something like, again, if you want to live longer, if you don't want a heart attack, stop watching Chelsea. But yeah, that's hilarious. Let's see. Let's look at the numbers now. Let's start with Lewis Hall. Let's just start with the goalkeeper. And I don't know it's necessary, but let's just do that. Maybe Roger will help us see, again, analyze and detail what he's seeing there. Saves, 7 saves. I think he did well yesterday. And that rebound goal, he did his best. And he tried to punch it again, to direct it to the side. Unfortunately, he didn't go to the side enough. And you could argue at the fence, they weren't there to help him. Minutes played, 90 minutes, and saved 7. Goals conceded 2. Expected goals faced 1.83. Accurate passes, 33 out of 39, 85%. That's much better. Accurate long balls, 8 out of 12, 67%.
Respectable.
Well, sorry?
Respectable.
Respectable, yeah. Not excellent, not poor. Diving saves, 6. Saves in the box, 6 in total. Throws, this can correspond with that, so nothing different there. Throws, 11. High claims, 3. This is important.
Mm-hmm. You have to dominate your box. You have to. Yeah,
he has to dominate his box, and he's tall. And you can say that's one of the reasons why I've said he's well equipped to do even better than Kepa Arrizabalaga has done. And if he can start dominating his box, that will make a whole lot of difference. You know, then we'll be, again, even if we're poor, you can say we've been poor in set piece, he can always help solve the situation. He can come out and carry the ball. We only have to defend in a manner that he gets the space to do so. recoveries 14, touches 60. So again, it's a better performance than we've seen from him for a while. He's done well again, but he had one misplaced pass too. We have to again recognize that too. Let's see what we have here. Let's have hopes again that players are focused on the World Cup come December. We will see a new Chelsea. I hope so. Bonnier, Nevada, I hope so, really. Encouragement, it's allowed. So thank you for being the doctor that's, not letting people take things too seriously. Hall was a breath of fresh air, teamed up well with Cucurella. Long may it continue. If you finish this sentence, Mikhail, and you didn't say long may it continue, I'll say that's not Mikhail. But I'm with it, though. Again, to me, I screamed so much, I nearly lost my voice. Lewis Hall was the highlight of the game for me, the best player on the day, if you ask me. His, again, ability on the ball, he is so cool-headed, you wouldn't even believe he's that young. His ability to recognize, again, to progress the ball, even in the most tightest of situations, that, again, he's the player we want. And I'm happy to hear that he has a long-term contract. Paul marking for the first goal, wasn't Mendy's fault. No, you mean the first goal was a free kick, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was a free kick. So that one, I agree. Why Koulibaly didn't jump, I just don't know, really. But that's by the way. Let's see what we have here. Again, I can see why Grealish starts for Man City now. He was, again, a nuisance all game yesterday. Yeah, you can say he tried, but still, again, I'm not seeing 100 million player there, no matter how you see it. I'm early for the World Cup. Again, I'm ready for the World Cup, so to speak. How are you doing, Queen of the House? I hope you're doing well. Kovacic and Mendy are worried about their future. We need to discuss that. Well, that's, again, you can say there's no way to tell if what we're hearing about their situation is the fact, really. Am I concerned about Mendy's situation? Well, again, it's a difficult one. That could change if he does so well that Potter decides, you know what, you keep just remain between the sticks, because again, he was you could say an opportunity made it possible for him to come back, but again, start being the first choice goalkeeper given a past injury. So if he continues doing well and improves with his ability on the feet, he may well remain there until something happens again, of which I don't want that to happen. But I still think if Kepa recovers fully after the World Cup, he's still, yeah, he starts between the sticks. I thought, again, it was the second, my bad. No, I understand you're a human being, man. Do you record everything minute by minute in your head? I don't think you do. So let's look at the numbers of Cucurella. Even some people thought he was bad yesterday. I think he was excellent. I think about 3 blocks overall. He did quite well. 7.4 rating, played 90 minutes. Accurate passes. I think he has the better accurate passes of all the players on the pitch. Accurate passes is 67 out of 75. That's 92%. That's a high. That's near excellent, actually. Chances created, 1. This number is irrelevant right now. Touches, 95. Touches, passes into the final third, 10. This is excellent, really. Again, very progressive, if you ask me. That shows more vertical passes from him than the safer option. Plus something, again, that I've talked about, his ability to find passing lanes. Cucurella, if you paid attention, doesn't panic. Even, again, when in the case of Ben Chilwell, you see him hit the ball against a Man City player. But Cucurella finds space and passes the ball. Sometimes if he needs to hold on to it and drive with the ball a bit before finding the space, he does that. I don't see that from Ben Chilwell. But unfortunately for him, again, in previous games where we've played badly, he's usually the one people start finger pointing. Accurate balls, again, long balls, 4 out of 6. That's not bad, but it's acceptable, really. Tackles 1, 3 out of 6. You can say should do better there. Last man tackle, this is important too. It's more like a last ditch tackle. Blocks 2, not really 3, but those are good blocks. And clearance is 1, recoveries 5. You can say ground duels 1, 7 out of 7. Aerial duels 1, 1 out of 1. Was fouled 1 time. To me, that's near excellent performance, really. Your thoughts on his performance yesterday, DJ?
Who's that, Cucurella?
Yep.
Yeah,
Cucurella,
I thought he was actually one of our better players on the pitch yesterday. I don't understand where the criticism is actually coming from for him. To be fair, I know he maybe had, I think he made maybe one or maybe two laps of concentration, but it didn't really get us into them scoring their 2 goals. So other than that, I thought he defended well. I thought he linked up very well with Lewis Hall. I thought he did everything right. So I don't understand when people say he didn't have that much of a good game yesterday and his numbers are down. I don't get why. I thought he was one of our better performers on the pitch yesterday for me.
and if we're being honest, those blocks, look at them. He's the left center back position, but he was making blocks in an area where you could argue it should be Koulibaly who was playing centrally that should be making those blocks. And without him, you can say we don't know again whether the ball could have ended in the back of the net or gone wide. We don't know. He leaves his position, reads the game very well to come into the central position to block shots. That shows you he reads the game very well too. And you can say Zakaria, as much as I'm saying he played badly, he should be the one making those blocks that Cucurella made really. But again, most people don't look beyond you can say what comes to their head for us, unfortunately. Just quickly before I go to Bobby and get what his thoughts on Cucurella's performance, we're not going to look at every individual player, but there are some players I really want us to look at. Broya looks like, he's a raw talent. Alba just needs a service, and he will show his quality. No comparison between the two. They're both 2 different players entirely. We have to be honest about that. Broya is a raw talent. Is he good? He's good. And I actually saw something that I haven't seen in him before. His ability to drop deep and participate in the play. If the service wasn't coming, he comes to the service himself. And that was nice to witness yesterday. Again, his crossfield passes were amazing yesterday. That's what I want more from, again, this team. Switching the ball quicker than, again, that got us more chances. That's the truth. And you could say Lewis Hall did that too yesterday. Cucurella can defend very well. Yes, he can, but most people don't know. Finally, he's playing like a 60 million pound player. Some would tell you otherwise, still say he played badly, not like a 20 million player. I agree with that. Again, Kova and Mendy's a situation, if true, doesn't affect Chelsea in any way. They are both a very dependable. Is it doesn't or okay?
They're both very dispensable.
Okay, dispensable. Again, Kova with all his ball carrying skills has little productivity. Mendy's a great shot, a stopper, ball to feet. Yeah, you should have completed that, and I guess I know what you're saying. But here's the thing: for Kovacic, I don't think he's going anywhere. I think the club will keep him. Did you see? There was a chance he created, but because probably he saw the chance, because Man City, believe it or not, they play with just 2 defenders in attack. They defend as a unit, but if you can be quick like we did yesterday, you can exploit that. Kova exploited that space on occasions. Some of them he wasn't lucky with, but the ones he was lucky, it just looked as if the attacking players wasn't expecting him to do that. But I think Kovacic, again, the whole thing comes down to how the demands of the manager really. And creating chances isn't that easy from playing a hybrid of a 6 and an 8 row, which means in most cases you're deep into the midfield. So creating chances won't come that easy. And he's done quite well, really. Again, sometimes you can say has been unlucky due to the players at the end of those passes haven't didn't put them away. Cucurella, I loved how they paired him with. I loved how they paired with Hall. Okay, how they paired him with Hall. Told him he was an excellent performance. I am still not quite sure about Cucurella. That's you again, but it's good to see him playing better. So, Bobby, your thoughts on Cucurella before I go to Roger. His performance yesterday, he was just brilliant, really, throughout the game. And look at it, the numbers don't lie. We lost the game, and he's only one of, again, the 3 players who got a green rating, which is once you get to 7, I think you get a green rating, which means he did well. But Bobby, I don't know, do you have anything to add to how well he did yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, Cucurella, I think he played well yesterday. Cucurella is a player that has just come to the club. He has had injuries, and like any player coming to a new club, you need a little bit of a settling in time to find your feet, find your way, and establish your game.
To acclimate.
Why people tend to not fancy him much is that he has this sort of what I call a thrashing way of playing. I don't know whether it's his hair flying all over the place as he moves or whatever. You know, he looks a little bit sort of all over the place.
David Luiz style, yeah?
Yeah, he's all over. He looks like that, but he is a very good player. He's very effective. I think he defended well yesterday. I think it's extremely unfair playing him at left centre back, not for a high quality team like Chelsea, who should have defenders in abundance and not have to put him there, but put him in his strength, which is either left back or left wing back, and he will help you. I think he's improving. I wouldn't say he was excellent yesterday, but I think he was up to standard yesterday, and he will get better. So I was very happy with him. I liked his combination with Lewis Hall. I think he combined better with Lewis Hall than I ever saw him with Ben Chilwell.
Any other players he's played with.
Yeah. So I think there's some way to go. Thankfully, dare I say, this is not going to the World Cup, so he'll have an opportunity to settle more and train more in our environment. And I think he can only get better, to be honest. So yeah, he did well yesterday. His best game so far.
Yeah, you could argue that. His best game so far, indeed. What do you think, Roger, your thoughts?
Personally, I think if he shaved his head off, we would have won the Tottenham game. All joking aside, I totally concur with Bobby. I thought he was solid yesterday. Listen, I've emigrated twice. It takes time to acclimate. Same with new jobs. We've all had different jobs. I'm assuming we're all old enough to have had more than one job here. So it takes time to settle in, for lack of a better term, to be acclimated, to know your surroundings, especially in a job that takes strategy, that's physically demanding. If I make a mistake, I just press the delete key, right? They make a mistake, they can see the goal in all likelihood. So I get it. And there's also different formations and so forth. I think we are way, way too premature in critiquing certain players or coaches, managers in this profession, or virtually every sport. It needs to stop. And you need to understand, A, they're human, and B, they're doing the best they can. Obviously there are some players that don't really care, but that's a very small, minute percentage in virtually every sport. I know in the NFL, I've seen interviews with that Minnesota Viking guy where he didn't just admit to taking plays off, he admitted to taking games off. That is a minute percentage of individuals. I think he's a very good player. My only criticism of him is he's been a little bit inconsistent in the 20 games that I've seen him play.
Would you say it was down to him? Don't you think?
I think it's a matter. It's a perfect. What's the term I'm looking for? It's a confluence of different scenarios where playing with different people on a constant basis, we hasn't had time to build a chemistry with. Whether it's the back line or whether it's people in the midfield or down the channel. I think knocks don't help, different formations, different environment, etc. I think it's a confluence of different things. It's simple as that. You can't draw a conclusion, a serious conclusion, based on a very short identity of games. The sampling rate is so small. You have to give it greater time. It's simple as that. But I like him. I thought he had maybe his best game wearing the Chelsea shirt yesterday. I thought he looked good. And especially, this is so important, I cannot stress this, considering the opposition. That's a very important factor also. I think I've been a little bit down on him personally, deep down, because of his lack of consistency. But then you have to take in so many factors into consideration. I think he's going to shine for us eventually. Maybe naive of me, perhaps, but I like him.
Yeah, let's not also forget. I was just going to say, let's not forget, he played against a team that wanted to buy him and a manager that wanted him as well.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
let's not kid ourselves on that as well. You know, it's not like when people say of Cucurella's performances. Let's not forget Manchester City were courting this guy for quite some time, and people say, okay, they didn't spend the money on him. We did, but I'm glad we did get him, because I still think down the line, I think he's going to be a very useful player for us. I just think sometimes the fans just sometimes get on players' backs because of the price tag. I think we're seeing that a lot with Kai Havertz. We're now seeing this now with Cucurella.
I did that with Kanté. I did that with
Kanté
with my cousin, like 30 million for Kanté.
Yeah.
30 million doesn't get you a team made now.
Yeah,
it's a joke. The prices are so inflated. But at the
so
time,
true.
I'm thinking 30 million. I'm like, he's so overvalued.
Yeah.
Boy, I'd pay 300 million for him now.
Now, yeah.
You know?
Now look at what his value is going to be now. Obviously, injuries aside, if even his injuries aside, can you imagine what his value is going to be like now, Roger? But I'm just saying, though, I think sometimes a lot of the fans, I think, just tend to get on players' backs because of the price tag.
Expectations are ridiculous.
I get the expectations are high. They want to see a player do well, but it also needs to take time for them to bed in and get used to the surroundings. Like Bobby said, if you know the club, if you know the club has invested that kind of time, your guy's got a 6-year contract. So they've obviously seen this guy. Yeah, only 6-year contract. Yeah. So when I say that, meaning the fact that Roger, meaning the fact that obviously the club has invested that time in him, and they know this guy's going to be good for the future for a lifetime. Yeah. So.
Yeah, again, here we have, again, I'm not going to lie, Charlo doesn't deserve that 5 from 8. We'll talk about him in a bit. Again, that's the truth. I think it is also a better rating. But that's a fourth mob rating. That's not our rating. We're just using it to easily look at the numbers. And here we have, again, Cucurella played well simply because of Hall in front of him. And who was able, again, that may well be the case of Rollo Arbo. And they combined really well, and that was again a sight for sore eyes. You ever wonder who's in charge of the technical drills? We cannot string passes unless we're going sideways. Is that really the case right now? But yeah, again, I get your argument there. I'm not sure. That's the list of my concerns really at this point. Let's see what happens here. Again, like, share, and subscribe, guys. We have 33 likes. We can do better than that. If you haven't, please do take a second to drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Now, let's look at the Koulibaly. And before we do that, I want to bring out this comment here by Just Viola. Let's look at his numbers. And that jump, you could say, I didn't expect that from him, but you could say, I guess he's human. But overall, he played very well, and I think he should have done better. What happened, I don't know. Really, let's look at his numbers overall. 6.59 played 90 minutes. Again, to me, he deserves a better rating, even though he should have jumped. But yeah, accurate passing 67 of 76, 88%. 8 touches, 88 touches. Cucurella had more touches. Successful dribbles, 1 out of 1. Passes into the final third, 7. Cucurella still tops there. Accurate long balls, 5 out of 11, 45. That's poor, really. Blocks, 1. Clearances, 4. Headed clearances, 1. Interceptions, 3. Recoveries, 6. Ground duels, 1 out of 2. 50%. Aerial duels, 1 out of 2. So not the best of performances, especially you could say that he didn't jump, really. I don't know. Did they close his eyes? What happened, really? Roger, your thoughts on Koulibaly's performance yesterday? That was shocking, to be honest. Again, I agree with Jos Viola.
Yeah, I can only talk about it from a goalkeeper's perspective because
that matters too.
Yeah, when you build a wall, you're expecting them, especially you're expecting them not to flinch, to move out of the way. It's simple as that. I've seen it time and time again where you build a 4 or 5 man wall and then they part the sea. You know, it's like, why even bother being there? You know, I'm apportioning that part of the goal for you to defend because I've got this side. And he failed them. It's simple that he conceded a goal. Without conceding that goal, we would have been in the game and possibly even drawn / win it. You know, I thought that was I like Koulibaly very much. I rate him highly. I've been wanting him to come to Chelsea for years, and I actually didn't think it would ever transpire. But this was an unacceptable faux pas on his behalf, not to jump. He flinched. He didn't want any part of that ball. It's simple as that. His eyes were open. They showed it in slow-mo. I'm like, unacceptable. This is your primary objective, is to block the ball. That's all you're there for. To do
Again, and even the pundits talked about it for a while. Go ahead.
Yeah, I remember Ronaldo did that recently, where he just didn't want any part of it, and he got crucified for it. I think, listen, he's an elite player. He's a great player. He's considered in Europe the last 5 or so years one of the top defensive centre backs in Europe. So, his body of work bodes well. It speaks for it. He's human. You're entitled to have a bad game, but that is unacceptable. The second goal, yes, he didn't track the player. He should have done better. But I put it down. He had a bad game. We move on. But to be honest with you, I would have given him a 4. I thought he played very poorly, considering the fact that his lack of play-worthy contribution led to the 2 goals, especially one of them directly. So that's why. Other than that, he was reasonable. I thought actually his distribution was excellent. I love watching him play, but I think we have to critique someone objectively, when it's warranted, and I think it's warranted in this case. I'm just being honest.
Yeah, again, if you're looking at only how much he can contribute, again, the in the midfield, because he drifts forward to support play and all that,
yes.
You could then you're not gonna pay attention to the defensive aspect of the whole thing. But he was on the pitch to lead and defend also. So the defensive aspect of the whole thing is very important. Argues again, again, Jeremiah argues, or CDK argues. Again, I would start Hall and Saturday. I would too. And I think given Hall's and Kukure's performance yesterday, we're most likely to play with a 3 at the back structure against Newcastle United. But we'll see what happens. DJ, I don't know if you've spoken about Koulibaly, or do you want to talk about another player on the pitch? Up to you.
No, Koulibaly. Listen, I agree with everything Roger's saying. I thought apart from that mistake for not jumping for that free kick, I thought his game was absolutely great. I mean, I thought his booking he got, I thought was slightly unfair. I know they showed it in slow motion. He didn't get the ball, but I thought it was slightly. I think I thought it was a bit unfair on him, but hey, it's what it is. It's the rules of the game. You made that change. You've got the players, so you need to be booked. Other than that, I thought he had a good game. I thought he was. I thought he marshaled that defense. Other than that, and we move on from it, mate. I don't think he was that bad. It's just obviously that free kick was a disappointment. That was all. That's all I could say on Koulibaly.
Yeah, to me, it was just that lack of that he didn't jump really. Other than that, I think he had a good game.
The second goal also, but I understand what you're saying. Listen, I rate him highly. I'm not berating him for the sake of berating him. That's all I'm trying to say.
Oh yeah, you are.
No, I'm not, Coach. I'm not. I like him immensely, and I'm going to want to say just something really quickly. Have you noticed the last few games? Yet again, we are conceding free kicks in needless positions. We're making petulant tackles, and I love Chalobah, but the tackle that led to that free kick was not warranted. He was so late. I know he was the whole team was under barrages of passes the previous 4 or 5 minutes prior to that incident. So I get it. The pressure was getting. But if you notice, we are conceding unnecessary free kicks so close to the box. It's only inviting pressure, more pressure. That needs to stop. And we need to be more disciplined defensively. I'm speaking for a goalkeeper's position. It's like, that's the one thing I used to tell my defense. Don't go in needlessly. Stick with your man. And they're not doing the basics in that regard. Just being honest.
Yeah, again, thank you so much. Just quickly here, again, I would start again, like I said, I would do the same too. He's proven that he's capable of doing it. Bobby, I don't know if you want to speak on Koulibaly, or do you want to speak about any other specific player on the pitch? Because I want to go to Lewis Hall. I don't know Chalobah, if this again any need. I think he's been good of late. I don't think we should actually talk about him. I think he did very well and deserves a better rating. But just quickly, let me just again go through his numbers here. Minutes played 69 minutes, accurate passes 21 of 25, 84%, not bad. Touches 37, accurate long balls 1 out of 4. That's wasteful, really. Blocks 3, clearances 4. So he did a lot of work. Headed clearances 4, interceptions 1, recoveries 4. Ground duels 1 out of 2. That's poor. Aerial duels 1 out of 2. Yeah, defensively, he was okay. You could say not his day really, and that challenge was dangerous. Had he gotten there's a way again he would have landed that challenge, it would be a straight red card. Again, if you're watching, if you haven't, take a second to drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. Here again, let's look at Lewis Hall. Really, his numbers just for the sake of it. But if anybody on the panel wants to talk about it, you're welcome to do so. 7.0 rating, minutes played 75. I think he deserves a better rating, really. Goals 0, total shots 100% shot accuracy because both were on target. If you ask me, accurate passes 21 out of 78%, not bad, but it's acceptable, really. Expected goals 0.42, expected goals on target 1.36. Shot accuracy 2 out of 2, 100%. That chances Smiths, that corresponds with it. You can say the misses. Touches 41, successful dribbles 3 out of 3. Passes into the final third 3. You can say he operated mainly there. So accurate passes, accurate crosses, so to speak, accurate long balls 1 out of 520. That's poor. Blocks 1, interceptions 1, recoveries 4. Dribbled past 1 time, ground duels 1, 6 out of 7 ground duels 1. That's again near excellent, really. Roger, what do you think?
Well, he's got 3 out of 3 successful dribbles, which is
I knew you were going to talk about that, but go ahead.
Which is 2 more than Sterling has in his last 10 games. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. No, I thought he had a very solid.
No, to me, he deserves a better rating, really. And him going off, what time did he go off, really? Was he played 75 minutes. To me, taking him off, what you could say was just a precautionary measure.
Yes,
we don't just want to risk it. I think he deserves to start against Newcastle. He did so well. He deserves to start. Again, we shouldn't be that worried about the outcome. It's important, really. But again, I think he's shown the size of the occasion or who we're playing against doesn't really matter to him, if you ask me. But that's why we will move on from him. When Bobby is available, just let me know. Roger, which other player here? Yeah, I was going to ask you again. Who was that? Whether you wanted to speak about Koulibaly? I know again his performance yesterday.
I mean, I agree a lot with Roger. Koulibaly has been making some mistakes, and I think it's born of 2 things. One is 31 years old, and we really should have got him 6 years ago when we were after him and refused to sort of up the price. But he's still a very good player. The trouble is he needs to get used to the Premier League, and it shows. Where he commits fouls, where he shouldn't. But once he settles down in a game, the funny thing about him is that once he's committed the foul and gone on a yellow card, he produces a better game. And then you start seeing his class on the ball.
That is some observation, and it makes sense, really, but go ahead.
Yeah, and you start seeing him putting in a better defensive performance. And that just tells me that he's getting used to the league, and he will get used to the league, most certainly. Trouble is yet again age. And that's why I go back to that thing I was saying. Levi Colwill, they had no business leaving the club. He's young, he's a left-footed centre-back, exactly what we need. And these are the kind of players that will start to come in and rotate. I've seen Chalobah coming for some criticism. And to be fair to Chalobah, he has played 2 games a week for the past 3 weeks. He's probably quite tired. And I know he'll play again against Newcastle, and that being sort of the last game till a break, I think he's going to have to. So he's really, gone over and beyond. And I think some of that is a bit of tired legs there, yet again, pointing to our lack of strength in depth. I'd love to talk about the midfield. I don't know if you've got there yet, but if you
No,
do,
who exactly you want to point to? We can look at the person's numbers.
Sorry?
No, who in the midfield? I can pick up the person, and again, we can look at the numbers if you want to talk about any particular individual.
You
By
see,
the way,
the
can I
midfield may not strictly be an individual problem. I think it's as much a tactical problem as it is an individual problem. We know that Kovacic is half fit, and we know that Zakaria is just coming into the team. He's not even played in the Premier League, so he's getting used to what's going on. And I don't think he did badly. Where it's tactical is that we're always outnumbered in the middle.
Yeah.
This idea of playing two players against three, sometimes four of the opposition, especially if they're flexible and mobile like Man City and Arsenal were, is stupidity. And our problem is the third man that's supposed to drop in to help the midfield is ineffective. I think yesterday it would have been more down to, certainly at the start of the game, it would have been more down to Christian Pulisic. And I don't think he did that enough. For some reason, they forced Ruben to hug the touchline, which I didn't understand, because Lewis Hall on the left-hand side, playing in the same position as Ruben, was often cutting in to help the midfield. Now, Ruben, who could have done that, didn't. And I suspect it's because Graham Potter felt that he didn't have the speed to always get back out there when he needed to catch their overlap. So it's all tactical. Yeah, I think that's a speed thing, because he's a big lad and he's not really a right back or right wing back. He's just filling in. And I think it's tactical, because I think going forward, we should have a three-man midfield. Had we had that with a decent right wing back, I don't see Man City overrunning us as easily as they did. And they probably would have gone for the big guns like De Bruyne and co earlier, because we would have held stronger in midfield. So ultimately, all our problems come from midfield. The free kicks we're giving away, it will happen by the edge of the box, but the frequency is because of the porosity of the midfield. The lack of offensive thrust is the midfield. No protection for the defense, no support for the attack. It needs changing.
Roger, go ahead. What were you saying?
Bobby hit it on the head. He really did. Yeah, he nailed it. Also, I think you were talking about Ruben. In his defense, though, you must admit, Ziyech, I thought, had a solid game, but he didn't track back enough. He wasn't getting the same help. When I say Ruben was getting the same help that what's it called, that Hall was receiving. Does that make sense? As simple as that. So I think there was some disparity in that to a certain extent. I thought Ruben played quite well. I thought he was solid, but they were identifying that part of the field as the Achilles heel for Chelsea. It was obvious they identified it. We're going at it. So yeah, I agree with everything Bobby said. But I thought I want to say one quick thing about Chalobah. I've noticed this whole season, every time a ball comes into our box, it's never ending. It's seemingly always Chalobah that's heading it away. I think he's dominating. I'm really impressed with his position. Him and Silva, by the way, of course, Silva. I mean, that goes without saying. They seem to have a magnet. They seem to be magnetized to the ball. They read the game. For such a young man, he's reading the game so well aerially, and that's very hard to do. I rate him highly. I think if he stays healthy and stays with us, I think he's going to be a star for us. What do you think? He's
already a star, really.
Well, I mean, elevated more so. I really rate him highly.
Again, we've overplayed him.
Yes, we have. I agree.
So chances are he's probably mentally tired.
Yes, of course.
Even at that, it wasn't a bad performance from him yesterday. To me, I'd say he did well, really.
Yes,
he did well overall.
He's consistent, coach. When
Yeah,
you consider
again,
how young he is.
You could say he's been one of our most consistent performers.
Oh, yes.
Believe me,
Easily.
overall, I think he's. I'm not concerned really.
No,
Just don't overplay him. You could argue had Fofana been fit, he wouldn't play this much that much game. But we'll see. Go ahead with what you wanted to say.
He's becoming one of my favorite players in the whole squad, Chalobah. I really like him a lot. He's, and when you consider how young he is and what he's doing, good luck for Fofana trying to, because of the price tag, probably will replace him when healthy. But that's some seriously good depth and competition in that position.
Yeah.
I rate him better currently from what I've seen from Fofana, which is a very small sampling rate compared to Chalobah.
And again, it's positive. We have them both.
Yes.
They're both our players, and they're both good defenders and good players too. So but go ahead. Nothing wrong in having them both. But go ahead with what you were saying.
No, that's all I wanted to say. I just because I said about the tackle that caused that led to the thing, that's just one small part. He is week in, week out solid for us. When I say week in, week out, that's multiple games week in, week out. Bobby's right. He is being overplayed, but we don't really have a choice. We've got a 38-year-old partner. You can't.
That makes it even again the reason, even more reason is that we should be playing him because balance will be key towards defending well.
And just imagine, guys. Just imagine some of our fan base wanted him to go out on loan. Can you imagine that?
Oh my God! Where would we?
But I didn't think the club was entertaining any offers. Really.
No, but hypothetically,
some of our fans were saying, "Oh, he needs to go out on loan," so because everyone knew we were getting. There was talk of us bringing in 2 centre backs or 3. So who's one's got to miss out? Who's the one to miss out? Oh, I tell you what, let's just get Chalobah, kick him out on loan. Everyone forgets what a good season Chalobah had last season, his breakthrough season under Tuchel. I think people forget that.
And his first game.
And his first game.
And the truth remains, DJ, everything that was going on there, given that we were looking at too many centre halves, it was easy for the Twitter journalists and all that to take it, run with it, create non-existent reality which people usually suck up to without even without thinking it thoroughly and coming to a sensible conclusion. It just didn't make sense then, even though there was an interview of him saying no. He was asked blatantly, "Are you going to leave?" He said no.
Yeah.
Again, some fans just took it and run with it. It took the rumors that Club A wanted him, B wanted him, even though we've seen what he's capable of doing. But go ahead with what you were saying, DJ.
No, it's just true. And just imagine, because I know one manager that wanted him in particular very badly, and that was Jose Mourinho at Roma. There was strong links to him wanting to take him to Roma on loan for the season. And I think Chelsea said no, it's not happening because of I think Thomas Tuchel put a stop on it at the time. Said no, he's going nowhere. And but there were, as I said, there was some section of the fan base saying, "Oh, I don't understand Thomas Tuchel's management style. Why he's not letting this guy go out on loan? He's not going to get much of a look in this season." I think people have got to remember, mate. If we can save money on a centre back, yes, I get you need to go and improve and bring centre backs in, but if you've already got one at the football club that has had a breakthrough season, had a very good season, I have to say, and then you're thinking, "Oh, let's loan him out," and the guy's just only signed a new 5-year contract. You're thinking to yourself, what's going on here? So I'm so happy he stayed, and long may continue. Yes, he has played many games, and I think what's happened with him playing many games, Kachila, and everyone on the panel here, is he's actually improved his game because he's played alongside the likes of.
He's much calmer on the ball.
It's against he's had Silva and Koulibaly alongside him. He's had that experience,
You see, DJ, here's the thing. I don't know if I should call it exuberance that we see from young players. Eager to, let's say, sometimes eager to impress, sometimes too quick to make decisions and all that. He's playing more maturely. He's more calm on the ball than he was under Thomas Tuchel. He's matured. He played so calmly. It's not in a hurry to make decisions. Again, you can see him playing with more confidence whenever he's on the ball.
Composure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
overall. Thank you, Potter's lawyer. More composure from him. You can see he's maturing, really. But go ahead, DJ.
No, I was just sorry, Potter's lawyer. I just lost track of mine when you were talking there. I got lost track of thought there. Potter's lawyer. Sorry, bro. No, sorry. Go back to what you were just saying. No, and let's not forget. I mean, you know what I loved about him as well when he scored his first goal against Crystal Palace. The passion, the cry, crying as he went to the fans and crying. It just showed you, you know, how happy he is to have got his chance and showing that. Yeah. And you're thinking to yourself, you know what, that is the kind of guy you want to go. If you know any young player looking at or anyone that's coming through in their team, whoever's playing professional football, look at that kind of thing. What it does to a player.
What it's all about.
Like do you get me, bro? I mean, you know, it was just one of those, and you know, and seeing him improve. Yeah, he's made mistakes, and look, you expect mistakes to happen along the way. Yeah, very few, but he's young. He's young. He's going to learn. Okay, and then you got, you know, he reminds me very much of a player that we never gave a chance to, and I think Bobby probably would remember him very well, and I think you would too as well. Remember? Do you guys remember Michael Mancian?
Michael Mancian, yep, I remember him. Yeah.
What year is this?
This is going back. Bobby.
He was
Bobby
the same set with Michael Mancian. You could say the same set as the older Chalobah.
Yeah, he was with his older brother.
Yeah, the same class.
Yeah. And
yeah,
I remember
the same class of the older Chalobah, yeah.
Yeah, and people were talking about him, but the thing is, he never got his proper chance. He had a couple of games here and there, and he got that bad injury, and then after that, he wasn't the same player again. And in the end, they had to loan him out, and in the end, he was sold. Trevor Chalobah reminds me like that, but obviously, you got Trevor Chalobah who's actually not got injury, thank God, and he's been fit to play. But he's just you know, he reminds me very much of that. But obviously, you know, seeing him playing. You know, for me, I think, as I said, I think it's just excellent, and I hope it long may continues, and I hope there's talk of us saying, it's going for another centre back in January, yeah, but not at Chalobah's expense. So we need to come in and improve the squad, yes, but not to get rid of one to bring one in. So yes,
is Lewis Hall? Sorry, not Lewis Hall. Who's the other chap that Bobby was mentioning? That we let go this season. Is he out on loan?
On loan. You're talking about what's his name?
Yeah, the guy at Brighton.
At Brighton, right?
Corville.
Levi Colwell.
We didn't sell him, did we? We
only loaned him.
No, he wasn't sold. And there's a chance, actually, because we don't know everything. There's a chance also he wants to leave too. Because even if the club wants to loan you out, you could decide, I'm okay with staying and fighting for my place. Ruben Loftus-Cheek has done it. Clubs were coming, and I think Chelsea was actually willing to let him go, but he said he wants to stay. Sometimes you have to, you don't just decide and tell a player, okay, we want you out on loan. That player has to agree to leave on loan too. And I think there's a chance he wanted to leave to be ensure he keeps developing up, because it wasn't his case. You could argue it was an unfortunate situation, because had the team, again, the championship team he played for, had they won the playoffs and made it into the Premier League, it would have been so easy for Chelsea, because he would have continued with them and would have been happy to do that, and would have been high on confidence, given all the performance he put. Again, he put this show for them to get them to even be part of the playoffs, to make it to the Premier League. But unfortunately, they didn't make it. And I prayed for them to make it, because he would have continued. His development would have been seamless, because he was one of their key players to that players that they lost to. Was the team again? I don't remember, at Wembley, and they were unlucky. Actually, it was bad decisions and all that. But let me not get into that. I think Chelsea were unfortunate that his team didn't make it to the Premier League. That made it even more difficult, because he's still very young. I think it's not late. He will come back. Hopefully, he gets to play more. And there's something, an update that DJ sent to me here, and saying again how well he did, really.
Yeah.
But the highlight to most Chelsea fans were just Lewis Hall, because that was the one most of us watched. But people that watched Levi Colwell play for Brighton in that against Arsenal, he said he was solid. A good performance from me. And he's another player. We're talking about maybe Levi Colwell is maybe Lewis Hall is a better dribbler. again, Levi Colwell is good on the ball too, but maybe not again. You could say again, he will get his chance. I think he will come back. The only thing I pray for is for him to get constant game time, to be ready to participate and show he's capable of doing. Because if he doesn't play that much, it will still end up being again another loan. Let's be honest. There, it has happened before. You could argue the reason why we had to even sell what's his name, the midfielder who's a mashup of a Regista and Billy Gilmore. The reason we had to sell him was due to a bad spell, loan spell. And again,
Norwich,
no matter how
Norwich.
Yeah. Sorry?
It was for Norwich, that loan spell. But
Yeah,
going back
Norwich
to your,
City, yeah. It was a bad loan spell.
yeah,
And had he not gone out on loan, Tuchel, before he left out on loan, Tuchel have started to trust him. But Gilmore himself wanted more game time.
yeah.
Yeah, but go ahead.
I was just going to say, going back to Levi Corwell, I think you got to remember when he did go on this loan move to Brighton, it's because Graham Potter wanted him, and I think we've got to remember who the manager is at Chelsea now. So I can see him only coming back to Chelsea if Potter's still our manager, which I think he's going to be, and playing under him and getting the minutes that he wants. So unless the court's all adjourned and they say Potter's out and he's gone, then then obviously you've got a big battle on his hands, Mr. Lawyer. You got a big thing to do to save your client, bruv.
I think Potter will have time.
He will have his time, and he needs to be given.
He will
time.
have time, but he has to learn from what has been happening. He will have time, but we shouldn't, because he needs time. He shouldn't, because he understands he will be given time, run us into the ground. He should be a bit pragmatic. He should be gradual with the process. He shouldn't be drastic about it. That's all I got to say about Potter again. I don't want to fight with
Coach,
Roger.
Honestly, Coach, seriously, we need to make top four. Not making top four, to me, is unacceptable.
There's a chance that will be the same with the owners. We don't know the agreement. Forget what we're here. What again, some Twitter journalists were saying. Again, top four is not a requirement, really. I don't believe that. We're talking about millions in revenue, and we're talking about those that are you can say profit focused
for these guys.
I think the only thing I think that would say that the top four excuse can happen is if we do a complete madness, what we did under Di Matteo in 2012, and go and win the Champions League. That would be a madness. Honestly, that would be. And because that means we qualify automatically for the Champions League the next season.
Really.
Yeah,
it is. Team, you know.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, I have to jump out. I'll try and jump back in if I can.
All right, buddy.
Thank you.
So let me catch up on what we have in the chat. Again, 0 minutes for Omari Hutchinson. We've talked about that. Hutchinson will bench Sterling. I believe me, he'd do better than Sterling. Unfortunately, I love Christian Pulisic. I think if you take away experience, I think he can actually measure Christian Pulisic and even do well for us. He offers something that no other player in the team can offer. Again, a bench Sterling. Remember where you heard this first? Well, we haven't said it. Maybe I could. I don't know how to outsmart you in this. So maybe I conceived the idea, but still haven't said it out. Maybe if you want to. Yes, I wasn't happy with Hutchinson not being again a use over, even for 10 minutes, despite blocking him from playing for his country. It just doesn't make sense. That again, you could say that adds to the list. Yeah, it adds to the list of those decisions. When you look at them, you say, "What is Graham Potter really doing here?" Really.
I don't get that either. That's indefensible.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sort of sense.
You need to talk to your client, Roger, and tell him why was that the case. And we pulled this young kid, right? Yeah. Everyone knows of this kid, right? Yeah, and the reason why he was not going to the Jamaican national team is because he was told by the club and by the manager himself personally, you've got to come back and play because you. And the thing of all is, he must have been assured by the manager you're going to get minutes. If you don't start, you'll get minutes. So the guys obviously.
Seriously, it's not like Jamaica is going to the World Cup. If he goes and plays, he still comes back.
He does.
Have him all the way. Just go ahead, DJ.
He does, and it wouldn't surprise me if he's on the plane first thing this morning, flying to Jamaica right now to the national team, because I wouldn't blame him if he was to do that. because I think how he was treated for yesterday, I think was really wrong. Because I really wanted to see this guy come on yesterday, because I've seen him play in the academy. I've got a chance to see him play, and he's a talent. I mean, Arsenal were mad to let this kid go. I'm surprised they did let him go. He didn't want to sign a new contract or a professional contract. I'm so surprised.
Maybe they found themselves in that such situation like we found ourselves in the case of Tariq Lamptey and all the top talents we've lost on the free. The one that one of them joined Bayern Munich and starts for them, right?
Yeah, Musiala.
Yeah, Jamal Musiala. So again, maybe they found themselves in certain situation. Maybe he wasn't that explosive, and they didn't trust. They didn't take it seriously to offer him new contract. Maybe by the time they realized how good he was already deciding he was going to leave. And he signed a long-term contract at Chelsea, and he will get his chance really. But that's not me. I'm still not going to say I'm happy. Potter again. What the heck did he do really? But go ahead with what you were saying. So I catch up with the chat and
I don't want to hold you back from I don't want to hold you back from the chat, bro. It's just I was just disappointed with that. That he didn't get his opportunity yesterday, and blocking him from playing for his national team to just promise this kid unnecessarily, giving him promises that you're going to get an opportunity and not giving him that to him. I thought that was bad management yesterday on Potter's part. But listen, he might get his chance at Newcastle. I hope he does if he decides to stay and not make that flight to Jamaica and play for the national team. He might get some minutes against Newcastle. We hope, and I hope that is the case for his sake, because as I said, he is a talent. He is such a talented player, and he needs to be given that chance to show it.
Yeah, again, the chances of him getting game time against Newcastle is really slim. I don't know. Graham Potter is unpredictable. But here's the thing. We will be winning the game before he gets a chance. I think Lewis Hall playing as much as he played against Man City, I think probably there's already a plan in motion to start him against Newcastle United. And you could say the area where Omari Hutchinson will get a chance to play, you could say it isn't an area of concern for Graham Potter. Lewis Hall got the chance to start and play as long as he played, because that area is an area of concern, given that Ben Chilwell is out, really. But I don't know what else to say. I hope we get to see the kid. But that's, by the way, that's a good contribution there from the Queen of the House. And here we have, again, Lee Francis Dave. I think I sent you the link on Twitter. Is that a different Lee? I think it's still you. So if you still want to join, there's still, again, a bit of time for us to have a good debate here. Chalobah, again, keep fit for fun on the bench for me defensively, but we can use them both when we have two aging defensive generals who I don't think, again, you could say we can get to rest them both and start Chalobah. To me, I think he's shown he's more calm on the ball to start centrally than we've seen with Fofana. Fofana, that exuberance still shows to, again, a concern, and sometimes he can make rash decisions that can be problematic for us. Let's see, just talking to Jasviola there. Again, a good day, guys. Good day to you too, Michael Obinka. I haven't seen you in a while. I hope you're doing well. He says, again, I'm not happy with some of Chelsea players. I think that they are the problem and not the coach. Chelsea board, the Chelsea board should again look into this. Like, the next thing you will see is to sack the coach. You can say that argument from some perspective makes a bit of a sense if you're looking at Thomas Tuchel saying same players, same issues. In terms of, again, how wasteful we've been in front of goal, you could say, I'm not sure, but again, I'm not subscribing to that idea, but I get your argument. We should call Colwell back, recall Colwell. Is that possible? I think, again, there has to be a clause on the contract that gives us the right to do so. We have no worries of playing for the badge. Instead, they are playing for themselves. Some of them are actually already, you can say, absent-minded in the sense they spiritually, you could argue, they've joined some other club and they're just here for the check. Kukurea, again, Kuchila, again, we need good attacking players, both left side, left and right side. And we also need a creative midfielders because our attack is so boring, and I don't like the performance of our attackers at all. You could say our attack is so predictable. We create most of our chances via, again, movement from the flanks, left or right. The central area would be poor, except yesterday. Probably you could say because the space was there for us to exploit. We need attacking players come January. Let's see what happens. And the Chelsea team need a leader in the midfield who dribbles or scores so they can learn. Maybe we have that in a Myri Hutchinson, but he has to get a chance for us again to see that happen. I was waiting to watch him play. Was very disappointed. You could say to me to an extent, given how I was enjoying Lewis Hall, it was easy to forget. But after the game, I started saying, "Wait, what really happened here?" But we don't know. But and he hasn't answered any question. Nobody has asked him any questions aligned to the concerns of Chelsea fans as to why he didn't get some minutes. Is this the same as Sterling? I know at Man City. What is happening? Well, I don't know really. I'm not sure. Again, a little off topic, but Jamal Musiala has been picked up for the German squad for the World Cup. Yeah, Chelsea fans will be everywhere now. Some of them won't even pay attention that the kid himself refused to extend and wanted to leave. The blames will be everywhere right now. Yeah, that shows you again. It's another one that got away, and I'm not into finger pointing really. I recognize that the kid wanted to leave. Probably felt like he'd get more chance, and maybe you can. And you could argue this, DJ. Correct me if I'm wrong. Usually, before young talents refuse to put pen to paper, in most cases, there'll be other clubs who has promised them first team football.
Yeah, no, exactly, definitely.
That's why before most cases they'll be bent on leaving, refuse to sign contract. For instance, in the case of Chukwuemeka, we promised him first time football. Milan was promising the same. I think Barcelona they were promising him the same thing too. So sometimes that makes it even more difficult. And at Chelsea, they will look and say, what chances do I have here? I'd rather go to them. But go ahead with what you were saying, DJ.
No, I agree with you 100%, Kuchel, what you've just said. I mean, he obviously wanted to go. The kid, he obviously felt he was going to get an opportunity elsewhere. He didn't feel what Chelsea were telling him about getting his opportunities will come. I guess he didn't feel that was happening because they've probably been telling him that for how long, I don't know, and nothing happens. And I think we also got to remember is his agent is actually Callum Hudson-Odoi's brother, and I think he's the same guy.
Probably will be concerned.
Yeah, and he's Callum Hudson-Odoi obviously because there was that talk of obviously they've got us that one wonder kid offers, which is obviously Musiala. The other wonder kid at that time was obviously Callum as well, Callum Hudson-Odoi, and there was talk that both those players were on Bayern Munich's radar. They managed to get one, and almost were to getting Callum as well, but obviously that never happened and never materialised. But yeah, it's a bit of a blow because I do have a chance. I do get an opportunity to sit and watch the Bundesliga, and I have to say for Bayern Munich, he's probably been one of their best players for them, especially in the last couple of seasons when he got his breakthrough. He has been one of their best players playing for them. He's so consistent as well, and I think I think England will be killing themselves for not actually having him in their setup because there was an opportunity for him to choose either England or Germany. I think he did make one debut for England. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yes. I think he did play for one game for England. But he wasn't chosen after that.
Youth level.
Yeah, but he wasn't chosen for the full national team. And Germany thought, you know what, heck it, you got this here, and they took him. So you'll see him. I hope he gets that chance. I mean, I don't obviously want Germany to win. I want to see this kid obviously show off his skill set, and I can tell you right now, people will not be disappointed.
Hansi Flick, he respects talent.
Yeah, 100%.
So the age don't really matter. If he speaks him, then he may well be what's the guy that scored the winning goal for Germany? He's nowhere now. He's gone into oblivion. He played for Dortmund, joined Bayern. Just go ahead.
You're not talking about Mario Götze, are you?
It's Götze, yeah. I think Musiala could be that Götze.
He was injured. Very good player, but very good. But
you could say I think a lot of drama must have led to in his career dramas in terms of joining the controversy of leaving Dortmund to Bayern again, thinking he's going to be the next big thing, and it didn't happen at Bayern. You could say things started going down south from then on. But go ahead with what you were saying about Musiala. But my point is, why Götze come to mind? You could say Musiala could be the joker for them, or the next Götze for them in terms of winning games for them. But go ahead, DJ, with what you were saying. I know Roger wanted to say something, but drop it, DJ. Roger. He can come in.
No, let Roger. I'll let Roger
I just wanted to say Götze's actually back in the German squad. He made the World Cup squad.
He made the World Cup squad. That's surprising.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did.
Just read it this morning.
And
so that further confirms that Hansi Flick is a believer in talent.
Regardless.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
And there's two wonder kids they've got in that team as well. We talked about one of them now, Musiala, and there's another kid that I know Liverpool are looking at. I can't get his name now. Maybe people in the comments might be able to tell me who it is. But he apparently is supposed to be another, the next one coming through there. I think he actually plays for Bayern Munich. I think he's come through the ranks there. I'm not sure. Or Dortmund. It's one of the three clubs. I can't remember which one it is. But apparently he's supposed to be another talent that's gonna. There's hopes of him lighting up the World Cup, and it wouldn't surprise me if any of them did. So watch out for him. I just forget his name at the moment. Maybe people in the comments might be able to help me. I don't know.
I think Roger, you have to help me decipher this one a bit. One weather training in sunny Jamaica, that's for sure. I understand that part. But I'm trying to make sense of the whole comment. In Jamaica versus a severe butt slapping in chilly cold weather, Newcastle is a no-brainer. Then the final part is a no-brainer. Is he referring to the choice of the kid on what to do? So probably, I think he's saying he most likely would want to travel to Jamaica, actually. What do you think, Roger?
Wouldn't you?
Sometimes, the Bluetooth again speaks. He's my brother, and he speaks in parable. And sometimes he can put some comments that confuses me. I'm just going to intentionally block him and act like I didn't see that. But Roger, it's a good comment. No need. I understand what he means now. He probably saying the kid will probably, I'm traveling to Jamaica. You don't worry about featuring me in the Newcastle game. But I think he's the future, but he needs to start playing soon. If we're really building, if we're in a you could say restructuring process or rebuilding process, however we want to see it, this is the time to give them any kind of potential a chance. Such a shame, really. But Roger, you wanted to say something even before that. Go ahead before I catch up with what we have in the chat, and we'll come back and look at some of the numbers and soon call it a day.
No, I agree with everything DJ said. I'm still shocked that he didn't get to see even 10, 15 minutes. Why bring on Sterling? No disrespect, but he's so out of form. I mean, that's an understatement to say he's out of form. Why not bring him on with 15, 20 minutes to go? Even that is a very small amount of time, but at least that's better than 0 minutes. I find that it's indefensible. I'm seriously, that's the one thing that I noticed at that game last night when the final whistle. First of all, I was pleased how we played collectively. Generally speaking, it was a huge improvement over the Arsenal game. It passed the eye test, it passed the stats test. But the thing that really got me, other than Koulibaly's not jumping, was the fact that, Hutchinson didn't get on the field. And especially when he was promised that he would. That's why they blocked him.
That would have counted as another positive for Chelsea fans.
Really. Yes. Yeah, Hall was huge, to be honest with you. I still think we need to be patient with him. To be honest with you, just slow your horses down just a bit.
Yeah, make it gradual, but at least let him be part of the first team.
Yeah, exactly. Hutchinson is part of the first team, and he's been on the bench quite a few times. He hasn't seen any real playing time per se. But I don't know. I can't really comment because I don't know what the coach's mindset is and what he's seeing on the training ground. I'm all joking aside, I really can't. You know,
But you know what though, Roger, when you think about the situation, he was promised. I mean, what's getting to me is this whole thing is
sure.
the kid was literally promised an opportunity, and the club even went out of heaven and earth to put him back and say, look, we need you in this team, because of our situation. You will get the minutes. Now, if the club are doing everything they can to bring him back from going to the Jamaican national team, then surely the manager has to be accountable for saying, okay, give him the opportunity, bring him into the team, give him a chance. I'm not saying maybe start him in the game because obviously because of the opposition we're playing against, but at least say to him, you know what, you will get your minutes. Okay, even though we're chasing the game, did you really need to bring on Raheem Sterling? No, you didn't. You're giving this kid a chance. At least give him a chance to see what this kid could do.
If anything, that Raheem Sterling, you could say, already fragile form would take more heat.
And the thing
is an understatement. You're being too kind.
I have to. But go ahead, DJ.
But it's just disappointing to see that, and let's be honest, I'm not sure. Are Jamaica in the World Cup? They're not, are they?
No, they're not. They're not.
Well,
I think I've asked that question specifically. They're not.
So specifically, then what you do then is, you got players like Raheem Sterling who are obviously now going to, between now and probably the World Cup, they're going to watch their every challenge they go into now 50-50. They're going to come out of these challenges. They're going to want to get involved.
Is the England list out?
Sorry,
in about 10 minutes.
In about 10 minutes.
In about 10 minutes. Yeah, I want to know because I honestly I don't think Raheem Sterling should be part of it. But go ahead, DJ. It's not my business really.
Matt Law
go ahead.
Out that Callum Wilson's made the squad,
and Maddison and James and Maddison from Leicester's also going to be making the squad as well.
I'm not sure I agree with that. I would have. I don't know. But
gone with Conor Gallagher.
Yeah, okay. Let me catch up with the chat. Gallagher, I don't want again. England has made that many mistakes of putting young players in. You can say prematurely, and it hasn't really worked well. Look at Wayne Rooney. Look at Michael Owen. I think
these were injury issues. Also, England's been a bit unlucky when it comes to. Especially the golden generation. They had seriously Wayne Rooney and Owen injured. They were 17 and 18 respectively. In the quarterfinals, they missed. I mean, they both had, I think, broken bones in their foot. One in the right.
So you didn't say partly of the issues with how the career of most of those players ended, where they again a premature call up to the English national team, and some of them again it causes some overhype, too much expectations.
It's always been that way.
From them. It weighs them down.
No, you can't say Michael Owen was premature. You can't say.
Did his career again? Did his career go as it should? Really, if you were looking
Michael
at
Owen
how good,
had an amazing career, but he was injury
plagued by injuries.
But
in his case, okay,
and he was hacked down. You think Eden Hazard was hacked down? Michael Owen was down. And when he was playing those days, stuff that was going on then would be red carded now. It's like, and then you look at what's his name, his counterpart,
Wayne Rooney.
He's England's leading all-time scorer. Yeah, not for long because of Kane, but he had a very long and elongated career.
And why does he look like he's 65?
Oh man, it's injuries, bro. Injuries, operations.
No, if we're being honest, because Pep Guardiola is not the manager. How old is he?
Who, Pep?
I think Rooney. I don't think he's taking care of himself very well, really. If we're being honest, some people at this age are still playing. Forget about the injuries, really. Even if you're not playing, at least take good care of yourself. You shouldn't be looking like he operates a beer parlor.
What was that bad injury he had? Was it a broken metatarsus? Or someone else had that same injury as well?
Forget about his career, DJ.
But I know what you mean. I know where you're coming from.
He shouldn't be looking like he owns a bar in London or in Manchester. You see something? He just reminds me of Gascoigne.
Oh God!
Exactly.
What a player he was in his heyday. Poor Gascoigne.
Yeah, I think he's living a careless life, really, in terms of taking care of. But we're not here to talk about England. Let's move on.
Can I ask you a quick question, though, chaps? What do you think of Conor Gallagher? How do you rate him?
I rate him very highly.
Yeah. So
and I saw another aspect of his game that we haven't seen much yesterday. Because the accusation, some people, because look, I'm glad he's showing that aspect of his game. It's easy to not look beyond his industry and start saying he's not that technically gifted.
Really, I think he is.
No, I'm saying it's easy to do that. People are doing that already. Even our friend Bobby is doing that. Bobby don't trust him technically.
Bobby's dead to me.
Yeah. Listen to listen to this.
I love Bobby.
I said, even I was a bit guilty of that. But again, once again, you can say under Patrick Vieira, maybe he doesn't have that freedom to express himself that freely. Maybe too much of a strict instruction on how to operate on the pitch can lead to a player looking like they're not what they are really. In terms of again, the you could say is the requirement the word, not the requirement. There's another word I'm looking for. Managers demands can get a player playing it to again a stereotypical way, to playing just a certain way, not have the freedom to express themselves. He didn't have that under Patrick Vieira. Under Patrick Vieira, it was a lot of running, a lot of pressing, a lot of goals too. But we didn't see that technical aspect of his game. Under Thomas Tuchel, we didn't see that much too, because it looks like Thomas Tuchel also didn't really look beyond his industry and was deploying him deeper due to the running he can do. And even I was a bit guilty of it because I was only paying attention, but you can't blame me. What I saw at Crystal Palace, the only thing I was saying, he can rotate with Mason Mount more specifically because of his industry. But I recognize he gets into the box. He did quite a lot of that at Crystal Palace. But on the ground, Potter, he played in a 10 position in one of those, not even really a 10, in a right wing position. And boy, after that, I started saying, I think we don't give him enough credit given how technically gifted he is actually. And we're starting to see more and more of that as he plays with more freedom. Yesterday, look at the turns, the dribbles and all that. There was a game also he played so well. Bobby surprisingly did not accept that he showed how technically gifted he is. He can actually do better than that, but managers' demand can actually stifle, again, you could say, dwarf a player's creative ability. But I'm happy to see that he's showing he's actually much more technically gifted than most people know. But go ahead. I enjoy that question, really.
Yeah, I think they're very similar, stylistically speaking, to Mount and Conor Gallagher. They complement each other in so many ways.
That's only here's where they have what they have in common, and beyond that, I think they're two different type of players. What they have in common is just the industry.
Sure.
Technicality. I'm going to say right now, I think probably, that's me. In my opinion, IMO, if I was those in the chart, IMO, I think Conor Gallagher is probably more technically gifted. But go ahead with what you were saying.
No, that's fair. It's still very early. I think they're going to have, we're assuming health-wise that they are able to continue their careers. I think they're going to have quite elongated and successful careers at Chelsea. You know, I really do. They're both academy chaps, and the more I see him play, the more I get to like him. Let's put it that way. I'm a big fan of Mason Mount, not to the extent of Johnny Minerals, but I just
and that's a whole other level. And I don't want to talk about it.
Big up to him. He's Mason Mount.
Look, I love him.
Yeah,
I love him. That again, even sometimes when Mason Mount play badly, I'll use him an example. I say, even though Johnny will not accept it, I think Mason Mount was poor today. But go ahead, Roger.
One has to be objective, and I think Mount is a solid player. I think he's an excellent player. I mean, I think he's
no player is perfect, really.
No one is. I mean, with the exception of Kante, maybe. I mean, he's one of the greatest players I've ever seen Chelsea have. I really rate him highly. But I really think Mount is going to, assuming he stays healthy, I think he's going to improve and excel. I really do. My only concern is that he's overplayed and he could succumb to muscle injuries. Yeah, and burnout too, you know. And it's the same thing because of their industry also. Like you look at a Jorginho, and then you look at a Kante. Why does Kante get injured so much? Could be genetics. It could be also his style of play, because Jorginho isn't known for his quote unquote industry, even though the previous game he played, he was exceptional. He covered 10.7 kilometers, you know, but that's not normally the case. He's known as a distributor, you know, so it's conducive for him to play in that style where it allows him longevity, where you can't say the same for Kante because they play completely different stylistically speaking. So, but Mount and Connor, I see them so similar in the industry, and I just hope that they don't suffer injuries, like muscle injuries I'm talking about.
And
like,
just quickly,
Kante
when I
does.
asked that question yesterday, did you think Connor was going to the World Cup? Did you say yes or no?
I
Did you
would.
say-
I told you when we did that video, that collaboration about my England.
No, that's you just
squad.
that's just your preferred starting 11.
Yeah, but do
TJ, I'm going to ask you this quick.
Yeah.
do I think he will take him? No, I don't think Southgate will take
Oh
him.
well,
because
he's on the list.
Is he really?
I'm seeing it on Twitter right now. So yeah, it's correct me if I'm wrong. So DJ, did you think he was
Great.
going to go?
No, I didn't think he was going to go, and I gave my reasons why I said yesterday, because I think there's too many players in that position for him to go.
Well,
but I did say that he can still go. He could be on what I call the standby list, because
Yeah,
they always have a
right.
list. They always have a list
yeah.
there of.
Can you check, Roger? Can you take your time to check it? I think what I'm seeing, maybe
doing it
I
right
didn't
now,
see it
sir.
right. I think he's going.
Oh, here it is. Oh, the England squad. Here we go. Official: Kyle Walker, John Stones, Calvin Phillips, Jack Grealish, and Phil Foden have all been included in England's man squad for the 2022 World Cup. Let's see anyone else. I'm trying to look at other. I'm just trying to find a tweet with all the players on there. There were several of them going around. Hold on.
Just go ahead. Let me know when you find it. Let me catch up with the chat quickly.
I'm going to the.
Here we
FA
have
site
again the
itself.
beautiful game. I'm saying again, we've read that one. I just had to go back a bit to highlight the topic. Lee Francis Dave says that Chelsea midfielders and attackers have no intelligence. They should go back and read the book How to Play Football.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't say I agree with you. I wouldn't say I disagree with you. I think we have a problem. But kind of this is. This is a bit too far, really. But I get
to read the book of how to play football.
I get your argument, but I'm not sure how to respond to that. Really. Yeah, but yeah, I get it, Francis. Good day, House. To be honest, Orwell needs to come back if it is possible. Yep, I'm glad you ended that. If it is possible. Yep, Godzi is back. Yusufa.
That's the guy.
The guy, the name you were looking.
The next wonder kid, for the next German wonder kid, alongside.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. I think they always.
Thank you, just
do that.
Big up to you. Thank you. Huh?
They always like to mix it up. Let's see what we have here again. A coach trying to get himself off the bus. I was never on your bus, so not yet. Maybe I'm still looking at the price of the ticket.
He's looking.
Don't count me as one of your passengers, please. I'm going to let you know that.
He'll let you come on free of charge, Kachilla. He'll let you come on free of charge, I think. You don't have to pay anything to get on the bus.
No, even up for free, I'm not getting up. Just go ahead. Keep picking up your passengers wherever you see them.
Team. Told you.
I've got the England squad. Have you got it there, Roger? I've got the whole team now here.
Yeah, got it.
Okay. Just in a bit. Again, this poll is disputed. Yesterday, City didn't have half of their starters, but CFC could have won it. Yep, we had the chances to score as many as 3 goals even before he started bringing in the big guns. But here's the thing, Lala. The truth remains, you could say Pep was so confident that even if they were 3 goals down, he'd still bring in players and equalize it. But the truth remains, had we scored the first goal, he'll start making changes in the next 10 minutes. Because he wouldn't want them to concede the first, the second, the third goal before he started making changes. No, had we scored the first goal immediately, it won't take him long to start making changes because it would be a risk. Do I ever think we were going to win that one? No. All I was looking for is a performance that showed, again, even if we lost, I'd say, okay, we did well. And it happened. And the biggest highlight for me, Lewis Hall. Again, to me, he made it look like a win. It was a loss, but his performance made it look like a win. So, hi, Lolo. It's been a minute. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well, really. And DJ and again, Roger, if you guys will have time, I can share the show on Soccer Perspective so we can talk about the England again, the people going to the World Cup with the what's his name, Gareth Southgate. And DJ, if you want to also do your own England preferred 11, just you will watch the video, see if it's something you want to do. We can do that later. I am waiting for the time you will ask this speaker about front of player. I want to hear him his reaction. What player? Be specific, and I'll ask the question. Tickets are non-refundable. Sure, yeah, probably that's probably the reason why I haven't gotten one. Really, that's most likely it.
They're not refundable.
That's amazing. That's funny.
Excellent.
So, DJ, is Gallagher on the list?
Yes, I've sent the list to you.
And Raheem Sterling again is on the list. So how many England players? How many Chelsea players? Just two Chelsea players, right?
Two Chelsea players, two Chelsea players. The whole squad is literally Jordan Pickford, Nick Pope, Aaron Ramsdale, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Connor Cody, Eric Dyer, Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw, John Stones, Kieran Trippier, Kyle Walker, Ben White. Midfielders are Jude Bellingham, Conor Gallagher, Jordan Henderson, Mason Mount, Calvin Phillips, and Declan Rice. And the forwards are Phil Foden, Jack Grealish, Harry Kane, James Maddison, Marcus Rashford, Bukayo Saka, Raheem Sterling, and Callum Wilson.
Yeah, to me, I don't think Raheem Sterling should be there, really.
No, it's a deep
but
squad,
I think you could say at least maybe Potter has done the job that Gareth Southgate asked him to do. Just keep playing him. But it would have been worse had it been on the bench, really. And I think Roger sensed it. Southgate is loyal to some players, and you could say Raheem Sterling is one of them.
And Mason Mount, sorry, 3 Chelsea players. My bad, I forgot to say 3 Chelsea
Mount,
players.
okay.
Sorry.
So again, he will get a lot of stick if Raheem Sterling end up putting up a sticker in the World Cup. I know English fans, they will be calling for his head immediately. But that's, by the way, again, Raheem Sterling and of course Mason Mount. Believe it or not, foreign players again. She sides with English players and manages even when they are not good enough for now to win us a big cup.
Who?
I'm not sure what. Foreign players. She sides with English players and manages even I'm not sure. I'm a bit. Yeah, I'm a bit confused there. But that's, by the way, again, if you're watching, if you haven't, take a second to drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, we'll have 42 likes, and I'm grateful for that. Yeah. So DJ, again, anyone else? Again, any player you guys want us to look at here?
No, I think most of it. I mean, the other plays. I mean, obviously, people probably put their comments on Ziyech, Brozier, and Pulisic. Listen, I'm not gonna come here and knock Brozier at all, because I thought the kid is still young, he's still learning, and you're never gonna know.
He did well.
He did well, and he had an opportunity where he got where I think the blood rushed to his head when he could have squared it for either Zaka
the one he ballooned,
just score, and he blasted it over the bar. Other than that, I thought, I mean, other than that, I thought he had an all right game. I thought he was doing things right. He was giving Manchester City's. He was being a nuisance to their defenders when he had the ball, and there were times when they couldn't even stop him at some point, because it was one play. We're talking about Lewis Hall's players of his ability of taking on players. This guy takes on players as well, man. I think we've got to forget that. And the thing is, people it seems like players bump off him as well, because he can go at the ball, because he's got a physical presence about him. Yes. He knocks people off the ball as well. And the only thing he's missing from it at the moment, and it will come because of the player that he is, it was scoring goals. And once that comes in, I don't doubt we've definitely got a heck of a player there.
You could say what's his name? Graham Potter didn't manage his form well. After scoring that goal he scored, start him the next game. That's how you follow the development of a young player.
Honestly, listen, chaps, I honestly don't want to see Pierre-Emerick play anymore. I think I want to see him come off the start, I should say. I want to see him come off the bench only. I want to see Broja start up to 70 minutes minimum each and every game. I mean, realistically, obviously you can't play 9 games in 3 weeks, but you know what I'm saying? For the most part, the important games, he should be our starting number 9. I really believe that. I think it's time to... I've seen how many games? We've played 20 games so far this season. And I think Pierre-Emerick has probably played in 10, 15 of them. And I've seen enough from what I can tell, based on what I saw from him in Barcelona and Arsenal. His legs are gone, gentlemen.
But do you not think also? But do you not also think though, Roger, that again, I get where you're coming from, and again, this is not me getting on the wood you got because, and this is for all out. Do you not think though he's getting lack of service? Because the guy does thrive on service, and I think we saw the frustration.
Again, you could say the contribution from our midfield has been
it's not been helping him,
and that adds to the suffering of our attack of our number 9s.
But he's also missed opportunities.
He has as well. That I'll say that as well. Yes,
he's done
as well.
There's it's a combination of many factors. There's not one thing you can point and say specifically this is the reason why Chelsea is failing or not succeeding. It's a plethora of different reasons. It's simple as that. It's us making defensive mistakes. It's our midfield not feeding and supplying the forwards enough. And conversely, it's the forwards not protecting the midfield, who are then in turn not defending the defense. It's a knock-on effect.
Spot on.
You know, listen, I honestly believe that from what I have seen, and yes, I know it's only 20 games, but I honestly don't believe, and it's not just me, if you look at ESPN FC and you look at BT and so forth, and Talk Sport, he doesn't have it anymore. From what I've seen, maybe the next 20 games he looks like Messi. Who knows? But based on what he's played, thus far this season, I can categorically and unequivocally state he has not been the player I expected him to be as of late. I think Broja needs to get that time. He's physical. He puts in the production, the application. He's strong. He's fast. He's technical. And he's clinical. Yes, did he miss he should have played a ball to the right yesterday, yes. But he's young. He hasn't been given enough games in a row. Like, let's say...
Is he 20 yet?
Whom?
He's not. Broja isn't 20 yet, is he?
Is he still 18? Is he 18? He's still 18 still, isn't he?
No, let Roger look at his spreadsheet.
No, Broja's got to be older than that, no? I'm bringing him up right now.
18 or 19 anyway.
So Broja is 21 years and 2 months.
21. Oh, 21. Okay.
He's born on
still young. Yeah, go ahead.
2001. Yeah. He's still young, chaps.
He's still young. He's still young.
Very young. It's like, come on. I honestly, if I was Potter, I would start playing him, 3/4 of the game, let's say up to 70 minutes, even up to 90, and have Pierre-Emerick come on as a sub. He's our future. If this is supposed to be a quote unquote, experimental season where we're supposed to introduce new concepts and so forth, then listen, Pierre-Emerick is not our future. He's a short-term stopgap, if you will. So.
Well, there is talk that PSG may come in for him in January.
That was just a metal bull crap.
It was again, but you don't know. Sometimes you just don't know with these links, Cucilla. I don't tend to believe them, but sometimes you just don't know, because you look at the body language of some of the players, if they're happy to be where they are, and look, and sometimes I just feel, is Pierre Aubameyang, is he really happy to be at Chelsea? Because obviously, he still has his Arsenal connections, and even though people turn around and say, I've got unfinished business there, the way he left Arsenal, let's be honest, he's only got a beef with Mikel Arteta, but not with Arsenal Football Club and the fans.
Exactly.
And the fans still love him. And
even if he isn't happy, even if he isn't happy, again, even if he's still loyal to Arsenal, even if he isn't happy at Chelsea, I don't think he will be to a measure where he'll be underperforming. I think we have a disease in terms of poor services to the attackers.
We make ourselves we're a graveyard. We get called a graveyard for strikers, don't we?
But then
yeah.
again,
That's the thing.
under Tuchel and until recently, for a year and a half, we actually created the most chances in the Premier League.
Well, how many
most
of them were for the number nines? The chances go to the likes of again. You could say we create more chances when we don't have a traditional number nine.
Sure. I get it, but still,
especially through under Thomas Tuchel and Graham Potter too. It doesn't look like it is a traditional number nine man too. I think he has too much in common with Thomas Tuchel that it's not funny.
Actually, they do. They do have a lot in
being
common.
honest, yeah. So we have nothing much has actually changed at Chelsea Football Club, and don't be surprised if we play with without the traditional number nine, we create more chances and play better. And when we play with a traditional number nine, the service wouldn't be going there. And that comes down to one aspect of the approach of both managers. They prefer fluidity rather than having a traditional static number nine. I know Aubameyang isn't that. He's capable of participating in the play. He's good on the ball too. But go ahead, Roger.
No, I want to know, what do you think of my assessment about Broja and Pierre-Emerick? Do you agree with my assessment? Or?
Listen, I think we've got Aubameyang we signed him for 2 years, didn't we? And it gives us the chance. It gives us obviously. I think part of that was in Thomas Tuchel's plan. The old manager's plan was that I think he comes in and Broja can learn off him, and then we might save some money in the transfer window down the line if we don't need to sign anybody, because obviously Broja can do the business for us. He's there for that. He can learn off of Aubameyang and Kai Havertz as well. Because I know people say Kai Havertz is not scoring, but he's still a player that you can still learn from. The guy's got tricks in him as well. He can do things. He can score goals.
Why do you think Potter keeps starting him? Most people are not paying attention, really.
He's just going through, like most of our players in this team are going through barren runs at the moment, and obviously, unfortunately, poor Kai Havertz is getting a gist of it along with most of it because of the price tag we keep saying, and people keep saying giving him 3 seasons or whatever. But going back to Broja, I think this is what the plan was originally, was to bring him in, learn from Aubameyang, and then maybe we down the lines. And there's also that talk of, could Lukaku come back next season? I hope not. Hope he stays at Inter Milan. God. There's talk of that as well, that Potter very much might want to have a look at Lukaku before even making a decision on him next summer. So there's that possibility that he could be coming back in the summer.
Do you really think that could transpire? Do you really?
Well, it depends. I know Inter Milan are trying to do their best to make the loan for another year there. With Chelsea, they're trying to get that all set up and sorted out.
The fans would castrate him.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. And Potter's already come out and said this is one of the things that some fans may like it. Those who are like Lukaku fans, or I like to call them Lukaku fanboys, might want to come out and say, you know what, he's coming. There are a few that I know that have gone some streams that I've heard that still love Lukaku and saying we did a mistake getting rid of him. There are those fans.
No, the biggest mistake is getting Lukaku in the first place. And if Lukaku comes back, I think he will suffer the same again. You could say we'll start having the same issue we had under Thomas Tuchel, given that we create more chances when Lukaku isn't playing, but when he comes, we create again nearly half.
And that's
by the way, the mistake wasn't just getting him; it was getting him at that price also.
Yeah, and getting him too many. Roger, do you want us to keep going into it?
97 million
him at that price as 28, knowing that if anything goes wrong, no Salam value, and we're suffering from that one now. And that was the argument I had, and it's on video with 2-3 people why we shouldn't get him.
But you know what?
Though, get him, he shouldn't be at that price. And plus, the biggest question I asked, we weren't paying attention to then, was that the way Thomas Tuchel plays. But I'm not going to get into that. And Lukaku coming back, will it work?
It would be.
He's just going to be a distraction for Graham Potter. Plus, Potter will have to change a lot to accommodate Lukaku.
Be a nightmare.
It will be a nightmare. And to be honest with you, when we actually, the season that we signed Lukaku, we could have signed Erling Haaland, but we were told that the club was told by the agent, with agency fees on top of all that, you're looking at 198 million plus the extra for agency fees. So you're more or less looking at a deal of 200 million or 200 million or 200 euros to pay to get him into the football club. They could have paid that. This was under obviously Roman Abramovich's reign, but Chelsea did not want to do that. So obviously the next target was Lukaku. And I mean, to be fair, there was Lukaku and Harry Kane. Now I'm not going to sit here and lie, because I'll be telling a lie here. I did actually want Lukaku as my second choice because we couldn't get Erling Haaland. I said, yeah, bring Lukaku back, because I think, he has unfinished business. He might come in and do a really good job for us, but obviously that didn't. Obviously it happened, and it has not worked out that way. And my worry is, if he was to come back next season, that's just going to stop Broja's development. And and even though he signed that 6-year contract, he's still going to look at it and think, you know what, there are clubs around me that want me, and I know AC Milan is one of those clubs that are really looking into his situation, because they're thinking it's a future replacement for Giroud, because that's how AC Milan will look at him, as a future replacement for him. And we all know, players that do go there. Look at Fikayo Tomori's how he's come leaps and bounds with his game since going to AC Milan. So they do improve players. And if he was to go down there, we also know Tammy Abraham with Roma. The guy can't stop scoring goals there. So with Broja, if that ends up happening and we get Lukaku back, that's going to be a big mistake on our behalf. And I really hope that does not happen. What's he say? I want to see Lukaku back, just to see the fan base lose their minds.
Why are you leaving him alone?
Sorry, bro. I got this. No, I just had to see that. I'm thinking we're talking about the beautiful game has to come out with something just like that bigger.
I was actually trying not to laugh because I saw it. I did just want to laugh.
God.
So it sounds like I'm being rude. Let me catch up here. Conor Gallagher makes it to the World Cup. I've seen that again. Raheem Sterling, of course. Yep, I've seen that too. I've seen that one too. Again, exactly. Alba is getting no service. The Arsenal game was one of the worst. Again, yeah, I get that. Alba came to Chelsea for Tuchel, and as soon as he gets the sack, Alba wants out. Let's have it right. That may well be the argument, but I'm not sure it is. He's a professional anyway. It's again, if Lukaku comes back to Chelsea, I'm off football.
Oh, God.
I don't think he comes back. If he comes back to Chelsea, it will simply means you could say what's his name? Bolly isn't paying attention really. Let's say I want to see Lukaku back just to see the fan base lose their minds. Yeah, it's gotten worse.
He would love that,
before. He was taking a dig at the club with his tweets and all that, kissing the Inter Milan badge. But that's, by the way, you kiss the badge of who you're playing for. But the digs, you could say the only thing he didn't do was just take time, write a song, and release a diss track against Chelsea with Jay-Z. Yeah, but that's, by the way.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Yeah. DJ, before we call it a day, your thoughts. What do you think about the upcoming game? That's Newcastle United. What do you think will happen?
Listen, let's be honest with you. It's going to be a tough game at St James's Park. We all know what the crowd is going to be like. Their crowd, I have to say, people talk about fan bases. Theirs has got to be. I've been up there. I've been a few times to St James's Park, and their crowd, they're behind their team 100%. And you're going to have to hear that roar. They're diehard. You're going to have to hear that roar when you go there to that ground to see it. If Chelsea have obviously got, not only Chelsea got to play through that, but we've also got to win this. It's a game we need to win. There's no excuses. We can't draw because, as I said, I think the most we can get if we win this game going into the World Cup after this, I think is either 5th or 6th place, depending on other results that don't happen. So we can't even get into the top 4 before the World Cup even begins. So we need to win this game to boost confidence for the players. Obviously before they go to their World Cup and obviously when they come back. So yeah, for me, it's got to be a must-win game. It's going to be tough. I expect the big guns to come back into the team. Thiago Silva, I'm sure, is going to be back for this game. He may even see a combination of Thiago Silva and Koulibaly for this game, which I think a lot of the fans have been saying. So a back three of maybe him, of maybe Silva, Koulibaly, and Chalobah. And then in the midfield, what I do in the midfield, depending on the situation with J5, if he's fully fit, then we know he's going to come back. So he obviously has to play alongside Kovacic because I don't think Zakaria is going to get a chance. And then you got then it goes from there. I would not moan if Lewis Hall was to be given an opportunity again in this game, but I just for the life of me cannot see it.
Don't hold your breath.
But it's got to be a must-win game, at least to boost the confidence of the players and for Graham Potter to go into this World Cup break, to take the players back, train them, show what they need to do on the training field and be ready for it when it comes back after the World Cup. So, yeah, it's a must-win for me, Kuchila, but it's going to be tough. I'm not going to lie.
Roger, your thoughts?
Yeah, I kind of disagree with all due respect, DJ.
Yeah, go for it.
I think it's a must not lose game.
Well, I guess you can always say it that way as well. You must not lose 100% the same thing, but I'm saying must win because we need the points as well.
I was waiting for him to say something
I know.
else, but go ahead.
That's right. It's cool. It's a must lose. Definitely a must lose. 100%.
That's what my client pays me for, Coach. No, seriously, all joking aside, it's something that you're right. We do need points. Points to make prizes. We need, honestly, to not lose it though. We've lost too many now. We need to steady the ship. Obviously, I'm going to use my goalkeeping hat on here. We need to keep a clean sheet if possible.
Yeah.
You know, worst case 0-0. But if we can keep a clean sheet, and more importantly, if we can play with the application with which we played last night, do not regress in the playing style with the effort and, you know, the application period, defensively and forward. Do we need to be more clinical? Yes. This is stating the obvious. You know, obviously we need to do that. But at the very least, do not. If we win and we play as poorly as we did against Arsenal, hypothetically speaking,
we'll get battered.
You know, that would be horrible. But if we draw and hear me out now and lose, but we played so well like we did last night, that bodes well because over the period of time, if you extrapolate that over the rest of the season, you're going to win far more than you are going to lose or draw. However, if you win and you play poorly, that doesn't bode well. Do you see my logic here, chaps?
Yeah. It makes sense.
So
go ahead.
That's what I want to see. I want to see us play better. I'm not sure about the formation. But you're right, though. I'd like to see Koulibaly and Silva play together, assuming that Koulibaly is healthy enough to. I really would. With Chalobah, possibly in a back three or a back four. Lewis Hall, I would like to see him at least come on, but don't hold your breath.
This question here, just quickly, it says, do you think we could beat Newcastle FC on Saturday? Let me do this before I give you that answer. Usually the insights, again, even though I know a lot of people don't pay attention to it, it shows you the teams. Okay, first, let's look at their current form.
I don't want to see Sterling play.
Oh my gosh. They are on fire, really.
Yeah, they are. They're playing brilliant football as well. They're playing excellent football as well. Let's not take that away from them. They are playing some brilliant football
Almiron is playing like prime Messi. Is he like the second 1-0? 1-0. Yeah. Let's just look at it. Let's just do this. Let's look at the numbers here. Let's see whether they are played Everton. Let's look at the numbers quickly. They have 1.46. You see that XG? Total of 16 shots.
Wow.
To Everton's 1 shot. So that's Everton. Let's look at more of their games. Wow. Really big chances. This is like 100% shot accuracy. If you're saying, forget about possession, it's pretty even. 301, 77%, 314, just a bit. So it's pretty even. Those 50-50. You see that? That's it, really. Let's see again. Let's go back. So it's hard to tell, but I'll look at it overall. Is this Newcastle's? Let's go. It's Newcastle. So this is all the games. We've looked at again the Everton game. Let's look at, again, they beat Tottenham in their new stadium. Yeah. Oh, my, look at Almiron. He got a goal in that game, too. Like I was telling you, he's playing like prime Messi. How's that happening? I don't know. He just, again, because he wasn't that good before to me. Look at the SG again. This guy's got more SG. But this shows you they defend well, probably, most likely. 1.21 is not bad either. And it's 17 shots to 13. It's not bad. You can say near, just 4 difference, close to being even. Big chances, one of theirs. And again, probably they took their own chances better than Tottenham did. Just look at this, really. So let's look at another numbers there again. There's some, again, aspect here. Total shots 17 to 13 number, shots off target 3, shots on target 5 equal. Wow. Shots inside the box, they had 9. Tottenham had 10. So they really not. They've been excellent, really. Again, their form is excellent. So I'm concerned. Let's see the other games they have lined up here. I'm going to click on them again.
Coach,
Yeah.
it's not just the stats that bear it out. I've watched them a few times this season.
Yeah, watching them too shows you how well drilled they are.
Eddie Howe's got them playing brilliant, isn't he? Eddie Howe, you take hats off to Eddie Howe. He's been up since he's gone in there. He's steadied the ship. He's brought the plays, and he's made the plays play the way of his thinking, the way he wants them to play. And
not
all
too
you
many
see now is
signings,
they're
really.
going at them. Yeah, and all you're seeing them do now is going out and seeing them the way they should, the way you want to see a Newcastle team play, and that's exactly what they're getting at the moment. Yeah,
and look at this quickly. Yeah, look at this. A 3.44 of 0.37. Again, that's the XG again, 410. So they can play good football too in terms of keeping the ball and all that. I think it's been overall, they've been on fire. I think these guys are awake. I'm going to try, so we'll round off soon. Just quickly, again, one more, and let's see. So they're on fire. The performances have shown they've done better than us, really. 4-1 away against let's look at the numbers again. And I think probably Almiron probably got a goal on the day. Let's see. Yep. Again, like I said, he's performing like prime Ronaldo. And the stat says 1.74. So oh my goodness. They are on form, really. And saying here, again, it was Hugo Lloris's fault, but at least they pressured them. It doesn't matter. If a goalkeeper, I've seen occasions where goalkeepers make mistakes and Chelsea we didn't make the most out of it. Here's the thing. Let's look at, again, the game. I'm going to look at the insight so we can call it a day. And DJ, if you were saying something, go ahead, brother.
No, I was just saying what it just shows. You're showing all the stats and all the XGs and all that stuff you're showing on there.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
What it does show though is when you got the manager coming in there and you believe in the player, and because let's be honest with you, a lot of the Newcastle fans were pounding Almiron. They were not liking the way he was playing. They didn't like his attitude. It stunk. They said they wanted him out. But when you got the right manager that comes in and puts that confidence in you to go and show what you can do and thread your stuff on the pitch, you can't go wrong, mate. And that's exactly what he's doing now. Him and Saint Maximin, they're two players, and also the guy in midfield, the Brazilian. Is it Gomes in midfield? What a player! What a player!
Yeah, the Brazilian, and he's going to the World Cup.
Yeah, he is.
That shows you how well he's played too.
Yeah.
Now, go ahead, Roger, if you wanted to say something.
I like St. Maximus. This guy is physical, fast.
What a player.
I'm telling you, they are. And coach, I'm not sure whether you realise this. From the tradition of English football going back to the 1800s, this is a big English team, a big English club.
No. I'm well aware. I'm well acquainted with their history, really.
Yeah, this is a club with pedigree and history. And the more north you go, you can tell that they are far more passionate about their football, at stadiums, for instance.
Yeah.
And they are working now. They've been by the money they have now.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're gonna be the next Chelsea, the next Man City.
Oh yeah. And their project is ahead of time.
Yes.
The project is really ahead of time.
They're going to be. It's going to be harder for us to make top 4 each and every year with the introduction of money invested. They are the new Man City, the new Chelsea. It's going to be no more top 6. It's going to be a top 7. I don't even know why Spurs is even in that thing. They've done nothing. Seriously, they have won what? They haven't won the league since 1961. The top.
Well, I bet it's going to happen soon.
But I'm talking about Spurs.
Newcastle.
I know.
Spurs shouldn't be in the equation. Spurs they've only won what two tournaments this whole century. I think one since 2008. We've won 19. We've won I think 9 or 10 tournaments since they won the League Cup, the mighty League Cup in 2008. But going back to Newcastle, this is a hard game and it's a hard atmosphere. I mean, this is. I mean,
Rock St James's Park.
When we had COVID, they suffered the most because they didn't have that 12th man. They were a different entity altogether when St James's Park didn't have an audience.
Yeah.
Yeah. And let's look at this, Roger. I know you don't like paying attention to this, but this usually helped me come up with the possibility of what I think a game will end.
Did
And
you
that was
guys
why I was
watch
able.
Man
And
City
again, if you look at
versus
the
Newcastle?
case, sorry.
Did you guys watch Man City versus Newcastle earlier in the year? That should give
No,
you some
I think I
idea.
don't know what happened really. But here's the
Yeah,
thing.
I saw the game.
It was amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Again, here's what I want to say here. I looked at again at the insight for Chelsea and Man City. I said no. The goals they've scored showed how potent they are, and we haven't kept a clean sheet in 5 games. And I was sure they were going to score against us. That was why I said we're losing this one. But let's look at this. I'm not, out of respect for the club I love, I'm not going to say what I think will happen here. But again, maybe I'll take my time to look at this insight again. Look, they're ranked a third in goals scored, and we're ranked 12th in goals scored.
Wow, I actually thought it'd be lower. I'm
I
serious.
thought,
I thought it was lower.
and you know what? You also have to think about another thing. You're missing out. You guys have, we're talking about Amar and all these other players. There's one player missing from that team that's injured at the moment. It's Isak. He's another one. He's another one.
That shows you they
He's another kid. Another one. Yeah.
But paying attention to Almiron makes sense. He doesn't look like he's scared of any defense these days.
Not anymore. Not anymore. No more.
He's
as I said,
completely different player now.
He is. And as I said, it just takes the right manager. It takes the right manager to come in there and do that. And Eddie Howe is one of them kind of managers that would put a play that he'll come in there. He'll put a belief in a play. We saw him do that. At, who's it? What was his team? Is it
Bournemouth?
Bournemouth. Look how they were playing. A little Bournemouth, we call them. Yeah, but look what he did to that team before he left. He was always making them players play.
Manager. He's a future England manager for sure.
But but it's what it is. I mean, it's going to be a tough game. What we got to do is quiet the crowd down, which is tough.
Exactly. Yeah, I just want to say one thing, and I say this not because I'm a hater. I'm objective. I don't want to see Sterling start this game. He doesn't.
He shouldn't.
He doesn't warrant being on the starting lineup.
If the England World Cup is already open, I think he should just go there.
Yeah, exactly. Please,
leave to go and join the World Cup squad early.
Really early.
So comparing the 3 goals again, they're doing better than us really. The third were 12. Sure. The disparity, is crazy. I've kept the most clean sheets in the competition.
Yes.
That's 6.
Best defense in the country, isn't it?
Yeah, to me, that's clearly saying we're not going to score. And believe me,
you have little faith.
Unless it's a wonder long distance strike.
Yeah, and
none of our players do that.
Listen, pay attention. And we haven't scored in 2 of our last matches.
Yeah.
Compare that to the fact that they have kept the most clean sheet. Which means getting the chance to score is going to be a problem, let alone saying we got too many chances but couldn't score.
Yeah.
And the last thing is Kieran. I love this guy, Kieran Trippier. By the way,
Kieran Trippier.
He probably most likely made it to the World Cup, right?
Yes, he's in the squad. Yeah.
Okay. Kieran Trippier is ranked second in big chances created in the competition.
We should have got him, from Atletico.
Yeah, I don't know why we relented, probably. And now we haven't kept a clean sheet in 6 matches. I'm sorry, but I'm going to say this. It just looks like the numbers statistically just says like on paper, just to be respectful, it just looks like we're going to lose this one.
It's not looking good, is it?
It's not looking good, really. It's not looking good.
If we're being factual on paper, but in football, you can't script anything. Anything can happen. But go ahead, DJ.
It's true. It's factual. But, as I said, it could also be one of them kind of games where we completely upset the apple cart and go in there and get a result. It's just one of them situations, and I know I think our record there is actually not that great down there, but if you look at the record, you look at the way Newcastle are playing, you look at the form guide, you're thinking to yourself, nah, it's going to go down. People are going to say, it's a loss for us. But hopefully, I'm hoping, and like you said, for me, as I said, it's a must not lose game. We cannot afford to lose this game, and if it means that we have to hold Newcastle and play for a boring score draw if we can't score our goals, then I'd rather do that.
Just
get a
get
point
something
at least.
out of it.
Get a point, and then you move on from it till after the World Cup, and you can
that's
go on
what
that
I was alluding to. It's
a must loss,
must not lose.
Yeah. Let me catch up with the chat, Roger. I'll come back to you so you can your final thought, so we can call it a good. Again, like I said in this comment regarding this comment, if you don't buy tickets, you're never gonna win a lottery. So they probably pressured him. They probably again anticipated a mistake from him, let alone them scoring, or maybe they took a shot. I don't remember what happened really. He made a mistake versus Newcastle and allowed them to be in top 4. They deserve where they are, really, given their recent result. I have to tell you that. Let's see. Anything else? Again, let's see what we're seeing here. It says again, it says you can bet that Newcastle are ready and waiting for the Chelsea Lambs. Again, at best, it's gonna be a Fallujah style ambush.
Lambs to the slaughter, in other words, bruv. That's what he means by that.
Goodness.
Lambs to the slaughter. That's what we are. Lambs to the slaughter when we get to St. James's.
We're mutton.
Oh, mate. Damn.
Wow. Wow. Here's the thing.
Honestly, mate.
I'm concerned. And Newcastle's recent result. Yeah, again, this one, I like this delicious comment here. Newcastle's trust the process arrived faster.
Yeah.
You could say that.
True.
And that comes down to really being, again, systematic about the process and not, again, opt for, again, a drastic, change. Even situations, they have injuries too. Spurs are trespassing. Let's be honest. I'm not sure I understand that one, but maybe you guys understand better.
I get it. Being in the top 6.
Okay. Possibly. Yeah. Again, would Omari Hutchinson start for Newcastle? For Newcastle, I think Eddie Howe will give him a chance, especially now that they haven't signed too many players. Would he get Premier League minutes? I think he would get in certain teams. Even if had he stayed at Arsenal, I think he'd be playing now. But he had already made up his mind to leave the club. Again, it says gotta go now. Kuchila and Panda, thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. Roger, your final thoughts. I know DJ. I don't. If DJ has anything to add, let him add so we can call it a day.
Do you want to go?
Go on. I'll let Roger. You talk.
Go ahead, Roger.
Yeah, by the way, DJ, have a look at the collaboration that Coach and I did about the England squad, and let me know what you think.
I will look at that. Send me.
And let me know if you want to do your own. If you want to do your own, we're going to do it. Okay, I'll send you the link. Go ahead, DJ.
Send me the link, bro. Thank you.
Coach, forward DJ my what's it called?
Credential.
Yeah, my credentials or lack thereof.
Go ahead.
But yeah, I think I'm. Shall we say? I'm
if you're on Twitter
about this.
If you're on Twitter, Roger, send me your.
Yeah, I'll send you everything now, DJ.
Yeah, yes, I'm apprehensive about this game. As I said, I'm using my goalkeeping hat on. I just want us to keep a clean sheet. I want us to be. Yeah. I want us to progress. I want us to look not just on statistics. I want us to pass the eye test that we're at least A, giving an effort, and B, trying. Where we're applying ourselves, and we are choosing the players that will fit the formation. I don't want to see Pierre-Emerick start. I don't want to see Sterling start. I'd rather Hutchinson start over Sterling right now. I think it's got to that point. I want to see Pulisic start, Mount, everyone that's healthy, and depending on the formation, I just want.
I really want to see nearly an identical lineup. Then nearly the same guys that played against Manchester City. Is with one change where maybe in the midfield area. Because we didn't really look at Zacharias' numbers. I think we should. I think it wasn't the best of games, but he still got the job done for us. But go ahead.
I like him. You're right about that. It's someone that I did want to look at. But you know what we need to start doing? We need to start forming an identity. And I'm not just talking about formation. I'm talking about our philosophy, what we're about. Because we don't have that yet. And, I think you have got some credibility with what you're saying. Maybe he's doing too much, too fast, too soon. I think maybe he needs to rethink his application with this team and bearing in mind, I know we have injuries. I get that. But the results, we need to make top 4. We just do. it will. I don't want to be in the lower echelons of the European Cup, like the Europa League. You know,
At all.
it's as simple as that. No, I want us to. We have to be in Europe next year.
Yeah, in Champions League, but not the other ones. I mean, that's what I mean.
Even if we make Europa League, we still have to be in it because we could win it and then get into the Champions League the corresponding
That's
year.
true as well. Yeah, I guess,
So, and also you have the ability to use your players during the week. You know, your youngsters. But I want to see us progress. I don't want to see us take one step forward, two step back, which is what we seem to be doing the last month or so. We need to start being able to progress with an identity and where you can safely say, you know what, chaps, I thought we played well yesterday. I thought we created more chances. I thought we did well defensively.
No, I like the performance. It was a loss, but I like
we
the performance.
We just lacked the finisher, didn't we? We just lacked that finishing touch, didn't we?
I like the way you just.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what I say. But this is what I really want. You know, I want us to progress from now on, especially after the World Cup. You know, I think it was 27th of December is our next game after Newcastle. I want to see us progressing. I want to see what Potter does when the World Cup is on with the players that do not go to their respective countries. I want to see him working on the training ground X amount of times per week and start building the foundations of this team. He's been afforded this luxury of a World Cup now, so he's been lucky. Let's build on it. This is what I want to see going forward, sir.
No, 100%.
DJ, your thoughts.
And what I will add on to that is I wanted to do what Pep Guardiola and I do believe Ten Hag's doing for Manchester United, that they're going to be playing some practice matches. They're going to be playing some matches, they said, with their team. They're not going to not just let them sit and not do anything. They're going to make sure they play and compete in some,
go to world
some matches
too.
Yeah, to do that in, and especially if it means playing friendlies against them. And I want to see how hopefully we can do it, because we need to build this identity. And look, all I'll say to the Chelsea fans and to you guys on here as well, it's going to be a long road for us this season. Yeah. It's going to be a long process, a long road ahead of us. We need to believe in what our new owners are trying to do and what they've gone and done. They've gone and chosen Potter as their man. It's their guy. We've just got to back and support him. And I think, give him at least this transfer window in January and possibly the transfer window in the summer, and give him the transfer window in the summer, not possibly, give it to him in the summer and see what you can do at this team, because it's not going to be easy. We're going to find it hard. I think we're finding ourselves where Arsenal have been over the years. And I'm not comparing ourselves to Arsenal, but if you were to give me an example of where I think we are,
should winning. The process again, should it necessarily be painful?
It shouldn't be painful, but at the same time, it's as we always like to say, it's bumps in the road and reality. Exactly, it's bumps in the road and reality. Because if we think about it this way, the reason I'm not saying we're Arsenal in that way, because I'll never compare us to that banter London crap club. Yeah, I'm basically saying to us, it's more to the fact that we're winning. We're still winning trophies and winning cups. We've got that winning mentality, but we just got to continue on with this manager. And we just need to give him some time. And I know the fans already are getting impatient with him, as I expected it to be. Because I said the minute Potter turns up here, you just watch the fan base. Give him 1 or 2 games, things start going wrong, they're going to switch very quickly. We need to give him time. He's obviously the owner's choice. And hopefully he gets it right. And I think he will get it right. Because he's a good enough manager to get it right. I really do believe he's a good enough manager to get it right and get the players he wants.
Point that Roger made, potential, is the reason why he was hired.
Yeah. He's got potential, exactly.
Which means potential is learned.
He was considered the new up-and-coming English guru of a manager. Yeah. Him and the Newcastle are considered the 2 young. They're put in that same category. I really do. I do hope that he is given the time. And realistically, we need 3 to 4 transfer windows. But what's harder for him now?
Yeah, you've added 1 more to it.
3 to 4. But you know what's harder nowadays, Coach and DJ, is the fact you go back 10, 15 years ago, there wasn't a Newcastle or a Man City. There was a top 4, there wasn't a top 6.
Right.
Yeah.
So now the competition is far greater because there's far more money that's invested in other clubs that are upper echelon. So it's going to be even harder for him.
It is going to be
DJ,
harder.
please
And
go ahead before these guys break down my
sorry,
door. Roger,
no,
were you still
sorry,
saying
sorry.
something? Sorry, I
No,
apologize.
go for it. No,
Okay,
never
okay.
no,
apologize.
I'm just going to finish up by saying, yeah, it's going to be a tough one, but we need to back and support him and give him the money to go and get the players he wants to bring in. And if he thinks there are players at that football club that need to leave, then I'm all for backing that and supporting that. Because obviously, at the end of the day, you can support your manager, but all I support is my football club. At the end of the day, I love my club, and I want to see my club winning every time, and that is the big thing for me. So it doesn't matter. Managers can come and go. They say players will come and go, but your club is always going to be there. And that is, for me, the most important factor is Chelsea Football Club and seeing us winning and being at the top all the time. But we're going to have bumps in the road, as I said. We're not always going to win. So it's just when we get, but while that's happening, all I say to the fans out there is back and support the team and manager. That's all I want to say. Yeah.
Look at the transition they've gone through in 10.
But what I like about them is they've backed. What I like about the United fans, and maybe some may differ, but I know majority of the United fans back their club and back their manager. They do back their manager. That's the one thing you say about the United fans.
It's just the owners they don't like.
It's just the owners they don't like. They're like us. The difference is we love our club and we do like our owners. It's just things that we just need to get things right on the pitch. That's what it all comes down to, and getting the right plays and the personnel. And we're doing that now. We're seeing that with the executives coming in. We're seeing what Chelsea are trying to do. Let's just let it go ahead now and do it. As long as we finish in that top 4.
Yeah, again, thank you very much, guys. We've enjoyed this debate discussion so much that we're nearly 4 hours of a stream. But again, as long as it's enjoyable, you don't pay attention to that. And I want to quickly say thank you to those in the chat. Big up to the Beautiful Game, my brother. Big up to Just Viola, the queen of the house. Again, CDK, Feded, and every other person that was in the chat. And Liam Lane, I know he's probably still watching, who has a procedure that he'll be undergoing today. Just remember, I'm praying for you, brother. I hope it goes well.
Good luck.
Everyone else that was in the chat, Lenfield, Lalo, thank you so much, guys, for finding the time to join the show. And I want to say thank you to my good friends and brothers on the panel, DJ Sav, and the Porter's lawyer and brother and friend to Roger Pop. Again, I appreciate you guys. So much love. Again, I cannot thank you guys enough. And DJ, I've shared the link to his Twitter account and also the link to his video. Let me know if you want to do one. And you guys, if you guys have time, I'm going to do a stream where we look at review the England World Cup squad. You guys let me know privately if you have time. We can do that later today, now that it's still happening, because by tomorrow it will be too late. So if you can, we can do that later today in a few hours. Look at the England's 11 for the 20. How many? 24 man or how many? 26 man squad.
26 man squad.
To the World Cup. Yeah. So with that, we come to the end of the show, and I'm going to say thank you to all of you. It's been a brilliant discussion. Again, I cannot thank you guys enough. See you guys next time. God bless us all, and bye.
Peace. Up the Chelsea. Peace, everyone.